Major political parties pledged participation in the March 5 parliamentary polls, commitment made during Prime Minister's summons meeting. Nepal's Election Commission calls for submitting closed list of PR candidates for March 5 elections, also determines categories for temporary voters' roll. Nepal leads WHO's Southeast Asia polio surveillance for 2025. Surveillance focused on children under age of 15, conducted in 10 countries. Thailand and Cambodia agree ceasefire after weeks of deadly clashes. Both agree to freeze front lines and allow civilians living in both areas to return home. Poland scrambles fighter on its border with Ukraine as Russia strikes Kiev. Zelensky set to meet Trump in Florida on Sunday. And 13th NSSF Kindle Olympics kicks off from today in Kathmandu. Over 1,500 students participating in the first phase. Good evening, I'm Smita Gising Tamang and this is NTV World Primetime News coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepali Standard Time. Across the globe, it's 1:15 p.m. in London, 10:15 p.m. in Tokyo, just after midnight in Sydney. Now, the news in detail. Leaders of Nepal's three major political parties have agreed to participate in the upcoming House of Representatives election scheduled for March 5, assuring the government of their commitment to the electoral process. The agreement was reached during a meeting at the Prime Minister's residence in Baluwatar, convened at the call of Prime Minister Sushila Karki. According to the Prime Minister's Secretariat, top leaders of Nepali Congress, Communist Party of Nepal UML and the Nepal Communist Party expressed readiness for the polls. Following the meeting, Nepali Congress President and former Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba said all major political forces are prepared to participate in the election while stressing that the government must ensure a secure environment. The Secretariat said CPN-UML Chair KP Sharma Oli and Nepal Communist Party leader Pushpa Kamal Dahal also reaffirmed their commitment to take part in the election. During the discussion, Prime Minister Karki urged the parties to view the election as crucial to the nation's future and the strengthening of stable and sustainable democracy, emphasizing that making the election successful is a shared responsibility. Nepal's Election Commission has urged political parties to submit their closed list of candidates for the proportional representation system for the House of Representatives election scheduled for March 5 next year. The Commission has said that the list must be submitted to the Office of the Election Officer on Sunday and Monday. Based on the Election Act rules and the House of Representatives Proportional Representation Election Directive, the Commission has also requested parties to submit their closed lists. The Commission further said that the list may be made public for general awareness before being officially submitted to the Commission. The Election Commission has also determined the categories of individuals to be included in the temporary voter roll for the upcoming March 5 elections. Employees of the Nepal government, provincial and local governments, as well as institutions owned or controlled by the federal or provincial governments who are listed in the final voter roll will be included as temporary voters. The Commission informed that members of the Nepal Army, Nepal Police and Armed Police stationed in barracks, prisoners in jails, and staff and security personnel deployed for election-related duties will also be temporary voters. Individuals residing in old age homes operated by the Nepal government, provincial or local governments, or operated with their approval, as well as chiefs and officials of constitutional bodies will also be temporary voters. There's an arrangement where an election commissioner will be designated to review the temporary voter register in coordination with its dedicated committee. As per the existing provisions for compiling temporary voter list, details employees will be requested from the concerned agencies and subsequently sent them to the respective election office along with electronic copy. Nepal's Home Minister Om Prakash Aryal has said that the government has made efforts to instill trust and hope among the citizens. Publicizing achievements of his 100th day in office, Minister Aryal said that the government is focused on relief distribution, maintaining law and order, good governance and preparing for the March 5 elections. Minister Aryal clarified that the government is moving ahead with preparations for the HOR elections, taking into account the sentiments expressed in the September 8-9 Gensep movement while taking care of the families of the martyrs and the injured. Nepal's Finance Minister Rameshwar Prasad Khanal stated that only if the government earns the trust of citizens can service delivery become effective and good governance, as demanded by the Gen Z movement, be successful. Addressing the 26th Annual General Meeting and the 21st National Conference of the Public Administration Association, the Finance Minister said foundation of good governance is the rule of law and the tradition of work being carried out solely at the discretion of ministers or senior officials must come to an end.
हामी अझै पनि कानुन परिपालना गर्ने कुरामा कोही पनि कटिबद्ध छ। यो परिवर्तनपछि पनि म कहाँबाट कतिपय आग्रहहरू राष्ट्र सूचना विभागले खनाललाई समात्दै छोडिदिनु पर्यो। There is no minister on earth जसले राष्ट्र सूचना जस्तो निकायले समातिसकेपछि छानबिन गरिसकेपछि मन्त्रीले फोन गरेर छोडिदिन्छ।
Time for a short break now. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World and this is Primetime News. Now the remaining updates. Nepal has been ranked the top country in the World Health Organization's WHO Southeast Asia region surveillance of suspected polio cases for the year 2025. The surveillance focused on children under the age of 15 was conducted in 10 countries jointly by the WHO and the National Public Health Laboratory. WHO standards require the identification of at least 2 suspected cases per 100,000 population. Nepal significantly surpassed this benchmark during the surveillance period. Health authorities state that stronger surveillance increases the likelihood of preventing polio transmission. In terms of polio surveillance performance, Nepal ranks ahead of India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, South Korea, Maldives, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand and Timor-Leste that fall under the Southeast Asia Regional Office SEARO of the World Health Organization WHO. Samples from suspected cases were tested in Thailand and no positive polio cases were confirmed. Nepal detected 7.1 suspected polio cases per 100,000 population in 2025. A total of 579 suspected cases were identified nationwide, while laboratory testing of 40 cases still pending. In 2024, Nepal had detected 4.5 suspected cases per 100,000 people. Under Nepal's routine immunization program, infants are given oral polio drops at 6, 10 and 14 weeks of age, along with injectable polio vaccines at 14 weeks and 9 months. In the aftermath of the 2015 earthquake in central Nepal, government-built residential structures in Darling were intended to provide safe and secure homes for the victims. However, earthquake survivors continue to live in precarious and unsafe areas. Millions of rupees allocated by the government have gone to waste, failing to bring the relief and security that was promised. Regina Rai, with our local correspondent Shivala Silwal, explains more.
10 years have passed since the devastating 2015 earthquake shook Nepal, claiming thousands of lives and leaving widespread destruction in its wake. The hardest hit district included Kathmandu, Bhaktapur, Dolakha, Gorkha, Raswa, Sinduli, Nuwakot and others. Dhading in central Nepal was also among severely affected. Landslides and collapsed structures. After 7.8 magnitude earthquake forced many residents to take shelters under the open sky, away from their their homes, displaced and vulnerable in the area. In response, the government and NGOs launched housing projects aimed at providing safe, earthquake-resilient homes for the victims. 10 years on, many of these promises remain unfulfilled. Numerous homes lie unfinished or abandoned, 25 in Nilakanta municipality, over 50 in Jwalamukhi rural municipality, and several more in Ruvi Valley rural municipality. Roofs leak, wall crack, and building material rot, while families continue to end their precarious living conditions. Those who were meant to move into these homes years ago are still living in temporary shelters or with relatives, braving harsh weather and unsafe environments. Local residents now demand government accountability, urging authorities to complete the houses and honor the commitments made a decade ago. For earthquake victims, the stalled projects are not only a waste of financial resources, but also a broken promises of stability and security for them. The abandoned homes of Dhading stand as a stark reminder of the broader challenges in post-disaster reconstruction, a testament to dashed hopes and the urgent need for an action by the government and other concerned bodies.
Nepal's tourism hub Pokhara is set to host its 27th annual street festival starting today, aimed at welcoming the arrival of the new year 2026 and attracting both domestic and international visitors. The festival will take place along the lakeside area, a major tourist district, and is organized by the Restaurant and Bar Association of Pokhara under the slogan "Eat on the Street, Celebrate on the Street." Organizers announced the event at a press conference. Running until 1st January, the festival will feature cultural processions, local products and handicraft markets, waiters' race, sports competitions, agricultural exhibitions and events on Fewa Lake. Tourism officials say the festival plays a key role in promoting Pokhara as a year-round destination, particularly during the New Year travel season. Hundreds of young anime and cosplay enthusiasts gathered at the Plaza Hotel in the heart of Kathmandu for Otaku Jatra 2025, marking one of the city's largest youth-focused pop culture events this year. The event featured art exhibitions, gaming zones, anime merchandise displays and a cosplay competition, drawing a steady stream of teenagers and young adults throughout the day. Participants appeared as characters from globally popular anime series such as Naruto, One Piece, Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer. Organizers said the significant footfall and the presence of established brands and sponsors reflected the growing popularity and commercial viability of anime and cosplay culture in Nepal. Globally driven by streaming platforms and international fan conventions, the subculture has seen rapid growth among urban youth. Otaku Jatra 2025 highlighted Kathmandu's expanding youth cultural scene unfolding alongside the capital's daily rhythm in its central business district. Time for international news, but after this break. Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to an immediate ceasefire, the defense ministers of both countries have said in a joint statement. The two sides have agreed to freeze the front lines where they are now and allow civilians living in border areas to return home, halting almost 3 weeks of intense clashes in which dozens of people have been killed and nearly 1 million displaced. The ceasefire took effect at noon local time on Saturday. Once it has been in place for 72 hours, 18 Cambodian soldiers held by Thailand since July will be released. The breakthrough came after days of talks between the two countries with diplomatic encouragement from China and the US. The agreement prioritizes getting the displaced back to their homes and also includes an agreement to remove landmines. Polish fighter jets have been scrambled on its border with Ukraine after the Ukrainian capital Kiev was hit by Russian missiles and drones overnight. Poland's military said its air force took a preventative response to secure its airspace after at least one person was killed and 28 others were injured in Kiev. As the fighting continues, so does the work to get a peace deal that all sides can agree to. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is set to meet Donald Trump in Florida on Sunday. However, following the latest Russian strikes, Zelensky has repeated his claim that Russia does not want to end the war and is trying to use every opportunity to inflict more pain on Ukraine. Later today, Zelensky, EU leaders and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen are expected to hold a phone call to discuss the road to peace. Zelensky's new 20-point draft is a revised version of an earlier 28-point plan, which was drafted by U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, but widely seen as being too favorable to Russia. China has passed revisions to a key piece of legislation aimed at strengthening Beijing's ability to wage a trade war, curb outbound shipments of strategic minerals, and further open its $19 trillion economy. The latest revision to the foreign trade law, approved by China's top legislative body, will take effect on March 1, 2026. The world's second-largest economy is overhauling its trade-related legal frameworks, partly to convince members of a major trans-Pacific trade bloc created to counter China's growing influence that the manufacturing powerhouse deserves a seat at the table as Beijing seeks to reduce its reliance on the United States. Adopted in 1994 and revised 3 times since China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001, most recently in 2022, China's foreign trade law empowers policymakers to hit back against trading partners that seek to curb its exports and to adopt mechanisms such as negative lists to open restricted sectors to foreign firms. Thousands of flights across the U.S. have been cancelled or delayed as the Northeast braces for a severe winter storm during the peak holiday travel season. 1,600 flights across the U.S. had been cancelled and 7,400 had been delayed, according to flight tracking website FlightAware. The most affected airports are John F. Kennedy International, Newark Liberty, and LaGuardia, which all serve the New York area. Boston, Chicago and Toronto, Canada are also impacted. Travelers are warned to check with their airline to determine the status of their flights. This has highlighted the vulnerability of air travel to extreme weather events and the need for enhanced preparedness measures. More international news and sports update up next after this break. Displaced civilians living in makeshift jungle shelters in Myanmar's Sagaing region denounced the upcoming election as an unfair vote, saying they cannot support it while their lives are hanging between life and death. Myanmar's junta is set to preside over voting starting Sunday, touting heavily restricted polls as a return to democracy 5 years after it ousted the last elected government, triggering civil war. International monitors have dismissed the phased month-long vote as a rebranding of martial rule. Civilians in conflict-affected areas report they have no access to basic services, with many facing food insecurity and ongoing military threats. Local activists warn that voter intimidation and restricted media coverage will further undermine the legitimacy of the election. Human rights groups have called on the international community to scrutinize the process and ensure accountability for continued abuses. Sao Paulo of Brazil, the most populous city in Latin America, broke the 2025 heat record this Friday for the second day in a row, reaching a high of 36.2 degrees Celsius amid a heat wave, the local government reports. Thermometers hit 35.9 degrees Celsius on Thursday, a Christmas day, according to data from the National Meteorological Authority. It reached 36.2 degrees Celsius on Friday, which is the highest for a month of December since 1961 in the state capital. The unprecedented heat has put pressure on local infrastructure, with energy consumption soaring as residents rely heavily on air conditioning and cooling systems. Meteorologists warn that this record-breaking December heat reflects broader climate trends in the region, with extreme temperatures becoming increasingly frequent and intense. Scores of tourists from around the world chose to stay overnight in Hong Kong to experience the city's festive Christmas markets, reflecting a growing trend of cross-border holiday travel. Attractions such as the West Kowloon Cultural District's West K Christmas Town, featuring over 60 elaborately decorated Christmas trees, drew both first-time international visitors and seasoned travelers eager to capture the festive atmosphere. The markets not only showcased dazzling holiday decorations but also highlighted Hong Kong as a cosmopolitan hub, blending global and local flavors. While overseas visitors marveled at the spectacle and enjoyed international culinary offerings, many suggested future events incorporate more local cultural elements, signaling a desire for an authentic cross-cultural holiday experience. Time now for sports update. The 13th NSSF Kinder Olympics has kicked off from today in Kathmandu. Nepal's Speaker of House of Representatives Devraj Ghimire handed over the Kinder Olympic torch to Olympian Kamal Bahadur Adhikari at an event held at Dashrath Stadium in Tripureshwar. Speaker Ghimire, along with Adhikari, other Olympians Santoshi Shrestha, Aisha Shakya and Malmati Bista, carried the torch around the track of Dashrath Stadium. 1,540 students from 34 schools in the Kathmandu Valley are taking part in the first phase of the Kinder Olympics. The second phase, scheduled to take place at Dashrath Stadium on 30th of December, is expected to include around 1,600 students from 67 schools. Organizers say that the Kinder Olympics aim to cultivate an interest in sports among children from an early age. Fighting England won their first test on Australian soil in 15 years on Saturday, restoring their battered pride with a gutsy 4-wicket victory to clinch a chaotic fourth Ashes clash that was all over inside 2 days. The pumped-up tourists dismissed Australia for 132 soon after lunch in front of a bumper 92,045 crowd at the Melbourne Cricket Ground following the 20 wickets that tumbled on day one. England crashed in the first 3 tests and came to Melbourne under enormous pressure amid questions about their limited preparations and allegations of excessive drinking during a mid-series beach break. However, they finally came good and will head to Sydney for the 5th and final test, brimming with confidence. And before we wrap up, let's take a look at the headlines one more time. Major political parties pledged participation in the March 5 parliamentary polls, commitment made during PM summons meeting. Nepal's Election Commission calls for submitting closed list of PR candidates for March 5 elections, also defines categories for temporary voters' roll. Nepal leads WHO Southeast Asia polio surveillance for 2025. Surveillance focused on children under 15 conducted in 10 countries. Thailand and Cambodia agree ceasefire after weeks of deadly clashes. Both agreed to freeze front lines and allow civilians living in both areas to return home. Poland scrambles fight on its border with Ukraine as Russia strikes Kiev. Zelensky set to meet Trump in Florida on Sunday. And 13th NSSF Kinder Olympics kicked off from today in Kathmandu. Over 1,500 students participating in the first phase. That's all for NTV World Primetime News for now. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepali Standard Time. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. This is Smithu Gising Thamang signing off for now. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu, Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries, where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World.
Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by.
Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Because maybe
Only after 6 decades of the institutional development of the now popular game of cricket did Nepal get the opportunity to play in the World Cup. Although cricket was introduced in Nepal during the Rana regime, the sport was confined to a limited number of people, namely the elite. It all started with equipment brought by students returning from their studies in Britain and India. Although Cricket Association of Nepal (CAN) was established in 1947, cricket remained centered among a few affluent individuals and in limited tournaments for a long time. Starting with the Bishnu Trophy in 1948, tournaments were limited to competitions like the Madan Memorial Sealed, Jugal Kishore Trophy, Rammani Trophy, and later the Jai Trophy. Even as the sport expanded outside Kathmandu Valley, it took decades for cricket to develop at the grassroots level. After the International Cricket Council (ICC) granted Nepal affiliate membership in 1988, Nepali cricket embarked on its international journey. The rule of mandatory participation in tournaments by the ICC and the Asian Cricket Council (ACC) opened doors to international competition for Nepal. After participating in the Under-19 Asian tournament in Hong Kong in 1996, Nepal has not looked back. Winning titles at the Asian and global levels, Nepali cricket team continues its journey towards the pinnacle of world cricket.
Goes down the ground because he was given that line outside off stump. So the first boundary of the contest, a handsome one.
Initially confined to Turikhel in Kathmandu, many international tournaments were hosted in Nepal after an international standard ground was built in Kirtipur. Nepal has also shown its proactiveness in differently abled cricket tournaments like the T20 World Cup for the blind in 2012 and the Asian Cricket Tournament for the deaf. Nepali women's national cricket team has also achieved remarkable success in a short period of time. The latest addition in Nepali cricket is the floodlit Tribhuvan University Cricket Stadium and the Nepal Premier League that has provided opportunity for Nepali players to rub shoulders with world-class players.
Nepal, a land of unparalleled natural beauty and rich heritage. Tucked in the heart of Himalayas, this small yet mighty country is a living tapestry of religious, cultural, and historical significance. The capital city of Kathmandu sits like a jewel at the crossroads of time, surrounded by towering peaks and the lush landscapes of Kathmandu Valley. The vibrant city is home to a unique blend of cultural families, each deeply rooted in the traditions that have shaped Nepal for centuries. Kathmandu is a city where history, religion, and art are not just preserved but actively celebrated. This city is also the proud home to 7 of the world's most significant cultural heritage sites, all of which are recognized by UNESCO. For centuries, the people of Nepal have dreamed of sharing their nation's unique story with the world. And Nepal and its people have captured the world's attention and admiration. It is a place that draws people from every corner of the globe, inspiring awe with its ancient temples, stunning architecture, and deeply rooted spiritual legacy. In 1989, UNESCO declared 3 historical zones in Kathmandu as World Heritage Sites, including 2 Buddhist stupas and 2 Hindu temples. One such remarkable site is the Hanuman Dhoka Darbar Square, a historical treasure located in the heart of Kathmandu Valley. The legacy of ancient kings is written in every stone of this sacred ground. From the reign of King Ratna Malla to that of mighty King Bilbikram, Hanuman Dhoka has been a central figure in the cultural and political life of Nepal. Here, the temple of Taleju, Jagannath, Shiva Parvati, the massive Thulo Ghanta, Kal Bhairav Shrine, Maiju Devol, and the Kumari Kal are among the most important landmarks. The intricacy of the temples, the carvings, the statues, and the entire architectural composition bear witness to the authenticity and craftsmanship of Nepalese art. The preservation of these artifacts is crucial as many of them are unique to Nepal and cannot be found anywhere else in the world. Each day, hundreds of international tourists visit this place not only to witness its beauty, but also to learn about its cultural and historical significance. Many scholars and academics visit Kathmandu to study the profound artistic and architectural heritage found in the city. Another historical gem is the Patan Darbar Square, an ancient palace complex that dates back to Malla dynasty. Located in the city of Patan, which is also known as the City of Art, the square is a testament to the creativity and devotion of Malla kings. Built during the 17th and 18th centuries, Patan's magnificent temples and palaces were commissioned by King Siddhi Narsingh, King Srinivas and King Yoganendra Malla, whose influence is still visible in the area's grand architecture. Some of Patan's most famous landmarks include Mool Chowk, Sundari Chowk, Bhimsen Mandir, Krishna Mandir, Taleju and Kumbheshwar Mandir. Among these, Sundari Chowk is an attraction in itself, and nearby Tusa Hiti Dhara, a traditional water spout, adds an authentic touch to the cultural experience. The Krishna Mandir, built in the distinct Shikhara style, is another highlight. This temple is particularly famous for its stone carvings depicting scenes from the Ramayana and Mahabharata, an absolute visual feast for visitors. For centuries, Patan has stood as a symbol of artistic excellence.
The Rato Machinanath Jatra, a festival celebrated not only as the pride of Lalitpur, but also recognized globally for its cultural significance, has just concluded. This year, beginning on May 18, we launched a 40-day campaign showcasing the grandeur of the procession. The participation throughout the festival was truly encouraging. Last year, we welcomed around 200,000 visitors. This year, by mid-June alone, the footfall has already surpassed 225,000. This achievement fills us with immense pride, while also reminding us that there is still much more to accomplish. We currently offer a guided tour from Patan Dhoka to museum, completely free of cost, with the aim of establishing our heritage as a living part of our collective identity. Patan Museum has long been committed to safeguarding both the tangible and intangible cultural heritage of this region. It serves not only as a local exhibition space, but as a vital destination dedicated to preserving and celebrating the culture of this historic city. Our tangible inheritances, many of them dating back to the Lichavi era, stand as remarkable non-living heritage, while our festivals, rituals and processions embody the vibrancy of our living traditions. Both forms of heritage are invaluable to us. It is our responsibility to protect them, nurture them, and ensure they pass down to the future generations with the same reverence with which we receive them. International tourists travel to Nepal to experience the richness of our natural and cultural heritage. Our historical buildings, artifacts, sacred idols form an integral part of that experience. Many visitors take the time to explore, observe, and fully immerse themselves in the stories these treasures hold.
Established by the King Bardev, the city was originally known as Lalitpuri Adinath. It was not just the royal home, but the administrative heart of the region. The intricate woodwork, the timeless architecture, and the thriving cultural scene make Patan a perfect example of Nepal's historical richness. Bhaktapur, another ancient city, takes its place among the jewels of Nepal. Known for its stunning art, culture, and architecture, Bhaktapur is a city that has preserved its medieval charm. According to Gopal Raj's genealogy, the city was established by King Anandadev. The Bhaktapur Darbar Square is one of the most captivating sites, with attractions like Singhadwar, Swarnadwar, Chardham, and Nyatapol Mandir. Among these, the Pachwana Jhale Darbar, or the palace with 55 windows, stands out as an iconic symbol of Bhaktapur's rich history. This palace, originally built during King Yakshamalla's reign and later reconstructed by King Bhupatendra in the 17th century, is one of the finest examples of the Malla period's architectural prowess. The art gallery within the palace is also a significant attraction for tourists and art lovers. The cultural heritage of Bhaktapur is alive and well.
Now we are in Bhaktapur and we are very surprised about the city. It's like incredible. Imagine that from how long this city has been with human beings and culture around. So we are very impressed. Probably one of the most beautiful cities that we ever seen. The construction, the architecture is very nice. The bricks, that is like all the city made from bricks and wood. And the people also is very happy, very friendly. You can move easily from anywhere because they have transport for everywhere. Take a long time be in the road because the roads are not so good, but you can do to any place. So it's very easy to move. It's very beautiful to see, and it's very satisfied for your heart. This kind of culture.
Bhaktapur, who is one of the most beautiful cities that I never seen before. It's a very ancient city. Some temples were constructed like in 12th century. So you feel like in other time, and you can walk a lot of days, and you can see the smile of the people, the street, this history. So we are very impressed and happy to came to this country. Every day I send pictures to them, to my family, and they are so impressive too. I think that this country is a very complete country to spend a holiday or a long trip, wherever you can do. You can be in different parts with different views and history and culture. So I invite to all you to come to Nepal and enjoy this beautiful place.
From the Kumals who craft their signature mud products to the intricate wooden crafts that define the city, Bhaktapur offers a window into traditional lifestyle of the Malla era. The famous black cap, Bhatgaule topi, worn by Nepali men, also originates here, a small yet meaningful piece of cultural pride. On the spiritual front, Pashupatinath Temple is one of the most revered religious sites in Nepal and across the Hindu world. The temple, built in pagoda style, stands as a beacon of faith for millions of Hindus worldwide. It is believed that a pilgrimage to Pashupatinath is equivalent to visiting 4 sacred dhams of India. Built by King Bhupatindra Malla, this temple serves as a center of worship for a diverse array of spiritual communities, including Buddhists, Jains, Sikhs, and others. The Pashupatinath complex is rich with temples, shrines, and sacred sites, each one steeped in centuries of religious history. One of the most significant festivals here is Shivaratri, a grand celebration of Lord Shiva that attracts thousands of devotees from around the world. Every year, during the special month of Shravan, the temple hosts vibrant rituals and ceremonies, drawing pilgrims to witness these sacred observances. The surrounding Slaismantak forest adds to the serene atmosphere of Pashupatinath. The temple's unique wooden structures, gilded pinnacles, and the bronze statue of Nandi at the entrance all contribute to the spiritual ambience. The daily evening lighting ceremony at the Pashupatinath is a tranquil and profound experience for both locals and international visitors alike. Swambhunath, also known as the Monkey Temple, is another spiritual landmark in Kathmandu. Perched atop the Padmakantagiri hill, this ancient stupa offers sweeping views of the entire valley. The temple is especially important for Buddhists who revere it as a place of profound spiritual significance. Legends say it was here that the Bipasri Buddha meditated, marking the beginning of Kathmandu Valley's spiritual foundation. Swambhunath's 2 all-seeing eyes, which watch over the valley, are a powerful symbol of justice and wisdom. Visitors who climb the 365 steps to reach the stupa are greeted not only by the temple's beauty, but by the entire history of Nepal, etched in every stone and statue. The region also houses a museum and a library, both offering further insight into Nepal's religious and cultural past. Equally impressive is the Bodhanath Stupa, one of the largest in South Asia. Built in the 5th century, the stupa is a testament to Nepal's enduring connection to Tibetan Buddhism. The legend surrounding Bodhanath's construction is as captivating as its physical presence. It is said that the king, upon being asked if the stupa could be built, mistakenly replied in the affirmative, leading to the creation of this sacred monument. Bodhanath has become a hub for the Tibetan Buddhist community, especially during Losar festival, celebrated by Sherpa people. Its significance stretches beyond Nepal, linking the country to broader Buddhist world. The Changunarayan temple, located on the outskirts of Bhaktapur, is another example of Nepal's ancient cultural heritage. Built in the 4th century BCE, it is one of the oldest Hindu temples in Kathmandu Valley. Its intricate woodwork, stunning carvings and inscriptions make it a true architectural marvel. Dedicated to Lord Vishnu, the temple is a site of pilgrimage for Hindus and is also renowned for its artistry and craftsmanship. Kathmandu's heritage is not just a relic of the past, it is a living, breathing part of the city's identity. Both the local government and the people of Nepal continue to prioritize the preservation and promotion of these ancient sites, welcoming visitors from around the world to explore and appreciate the rich cultural and historical legacy of this beautiful land. Dai Lake in Karnali province is a geographically remote district, yet rich with untapped potential for tourism. Stepping into Dai Lake, celebrated as a treasure trove of Khas art, culture and heritage, brings a unique sense of joy. journey begins amid its natural beauty, leading us toward Mahabur Rural Municipality. As we leave the mid-hill highway, the terrain becomes challenging, with hilly, muddy roads demanding patience and skill. Long lines of vehicles crawl carefully along the cliffs, reflecting both the difficulty of the route and the enduring devotion of Mahabur Dham. Many travelers choose to continue on foot, advancing step by step toward their destination. Passing through Channa, Dasarathi, Okharbanj, Bhavsaini, Noli, and Unipata, pilgrims ascend the slopes toward Lisne before finally reaching Mahabur Patan. Pilgrims from Dailek and nearby districts often arrive late at night, having begun their journey the previous day. The path to Mahabur Dham is thrilling, adventurous, and breathtaking, made even more dramatic by the steady rain, drifting fog, and steep inclines. Yet the journey itself feels uniquely rewarding. Mahabur Lake or Mahabur Dham, located within Mahabur Rural Municipality, is a remarkable place of natural beauty, religious significance, and cultural heritage. Situated at an altitude of 4,200 meters, the area is adorned with emerald lakes, grazing flocks of sheep and goats, and a sky that dances with Himalayan mist. Every year, during Janai Purnima, a grand fair is held here, drawing thousands of devotees from across the region. Mahabur Dham's spiritual importance is deeply rooted in the ancient worship of Lord Shiva, revered here as the origin site. From Mahabur Lake, visitors can enjoy magnificent views of Api and Sai Palhimal, and on clear days, even the plains of Bardia. Given its religious importance and natural splendor, Mahabur Dham holds immense potential as a religious tourism destination. Improving the rough, narrow access roads is essential for supporting this growth. Mahabur Dham is more than a pilgrimage site. It is a confluence of culture, history, faith, and nature. To truly appreciate its significance, one must visit Mahabur Lake at least once, immerse oneself in its natural beauty, and experience the serene environment that leaves a lasting impression.
Hello there, welcome to Geopod. South Asia is home to a fifth of humanity, yet remains one of the least integrated regions in the world. For 4 decades, SAARC has carried the promise of cooperation, dialogue, and shared progress, but also the weight of political divisions and unanswered expectations. In this maiden episode of Geopod on NTV World, we look at SAARC's journey, its challenges, and the road ahead, especially as it marks the 40 years since the adoption of the SAARC Charter. And for that, we speak directly with the individual entrusted with keeping that promise alive, His Excellency Muhammad Ghulam Sarwar, the Secretary General of SAARC. Your Excellency, welcome to Geopod.
Thank you so much for inviting me for this interview in the Nepal television. I also thank the Nepal television for inviting me to exchange some thoughts on the occasion of this 40th anniversary of SAARC Charter.
A little over 2 years that you have took on the helm, right? How closely does Kathmandu, like you discovered, matches the Kathmandu you expected?
If you ask me about the expectation from the SAARC point of view, I am not fully pessimistic. I am quite optimistic in the sense that I have discovered, I must say that I have discovered, because most of us are really ignorant about what actually SAARC had so much made progress in the last 40 years, and what are the promises that we had made, by our leaders 40 years ago. So SAARC has really have a very strong foundation. In last 40 years, SAARC has made a very deep-rooted, presence in the whole region through various declarations, various agreements, and various MOU, which are very much important to realize the charter objective of SAARC. So I just want to name few of those, like agreements on the South Asian Free Trade Area, SAFTA, then the SAARC Preferential Trade Arrangement, SAFTA, SAARC Food Security Reserve, Mutual Administrative Assistance on Customs Matter, Avoidance of Double Taxation, Mutual Administrative Assistance on Tax Matters, Establishment of SAARC Food Bank, Agreement on the Trade Services, Establishment of SAARC Seed Bank, Mutual Agreement on the Recognition of the Conformity Assessment, Rapid Response to the Natural Disaster, Framework Agreement on Energy Cooperation. These are very important, as you would agree with me. And then moreover, we also had a lot of memorandum and convention, like declaration also on the protocol on the field of terrorism, drug control, child welfare, environment, natural disaster, criminal matters, trafficking of women and children, and above all the SAARC Charter. So we have so many important instruments in place in the SAARC process, which were very important for the success of SAARC. So that's why I am really optimistic that still we have, based on this foundation, we can build and go ahead. We must be quite happy that we have been able to come to understanding among all countries on a consensus basis on all these instruments that we have. So the shortcomings or the frustration, if you say, that we could have achieved much more than what we have now. That is, in short, I can tell you.
Right. I mean, like part of SAARC's mandate, certainly, it was built on a foundational optimism, which is so very reflective on what you've just shared, and even the spirit that you carry so far, right? Cooperation free from bilateral tensions, I believe, also was one of the mandates that were to be included. But reality has often been, more complicated than what was envisioned back then 40 years ago. So in this context, Your Excellency, the Charter envisioned cooperation almost unburdened by bilateral disputes. Yet, geopolitical tensions have very visibly constrained SAARC's collective potential. Do you think the Charter still reflects the region's political and economic realities, or is it time to reimagine SAARC's foundational assumption?
Thank you. This is very important question I face everywhere, and this is a difficult question to answer also, because actually over last 2 years I have given a lot of thoughts about this issue, that is this charter self-contained or it needs some kind of new reflections to be put into. I actually found that this charter had been drafted very well. I mean, given all the geopolitical reality and the reality on the ground in our region, I think there cannot be any better say foundational instrument in South Asia. Now the point is whether we are following in true sense the commitments and the desires that we have made 40 years ago. That is a question you can always ask anyone, in the SAARC or in the region. But as far as the charter is concerned, I think, yes, there is always room for improvement with the change of time, so we can bring some new elements in the, say, our terms of reference and how we can achieve the chartered goal, that can be also looked at. But I don't see much problem with the charter. It's the issue of our commitment. I think we have to have more commitment to the charter.
Right, and this brings me, to the most persistent and very defining bilateral dynamism in this region, right? In every SAARC conversation, Your Excellency, India-Pakistan tensions are the silent elephant in the room, right? So, as a Secretary General of this entity, how do you engineer institutional momentum in a space where political constraints routinely overshadow regional consensus?
No, thank you. Actually, after my took over, I have been to all the countries of the region, except Afghanistan. Of course, due to the situation there, I could not go. But in each and every individual countries, the leadership and the civil society, the high officials I met, I received the similar kind of commitment to the SAARC process, and similar kind of expectation they are still holding. I'm sure the good time will come. Although, as you say, have raised about the tension between two member countries, I think besides all these bilateral issues, we can still go ahead. It is up to our leadership to decide when to go ahead. They are also quite, I must say that, quite competent in their position, having a lot of experience, and they know when to give us a signal to go ahead. So I'm still very much optimistic, because the amount of resilience and the goodwill that I have seen in each and every member countries, I don't see any reason to be frustrated on this. Only thing is, this is a temporary phenomena we are passing through. We have to have little patience to come out of this situation.
If you could shed light, is SAARC structurally dependent on political harmony, or rather than designed to manage conflict?
No, rather I should say that it is designed. It is also, there is inbuilt design in the SAARC Charter to manage the conflict. Like if we have say bilateral differences between two countries, they may not be able to sit bilaterally, but there is a scope under the SAARC to sit regularly, to discuss in the sideline about the contentious bilateral issues and come to a common ground. I think SAARC is offering excellent forum for even discuss about the difficult bilateral issues and come to a conclusion.
And beyond internal dynamics, because we've come to a point of time where everything is affecting everything elsewhere, right? So beyond these internal dynamics of the region itself, Your Excellency, the regional equation is also shaped by major external powers, right? So let me be very specific, with China expanding influence through the BRI project, and infrastructure diplomacy and emerging security ties with several South Asian countries, how does SAARC assert its own regional agenda?
I think there is no problem to see more regional and sub-regional cooperation to say take shape, because in the SAARC Charter, rather the sub-regional cooperation involving two or more member countries have been actually encouraged in the SAARC Charter. That's why I'm saying that this charter was very much visionary. They have considered all the aspect, what it can happen after 40 years, after 50 years. So it was well designed, and in the charter it is encouraged by the member states to form the sub-regional cooperation among the member states, or with two or more member states. In that case, they can also sometimes consider the extended neighbors in that forum. There is no harm for that. So this can be complementary to each other. Yeah, I don't see there is any challenge in this. Rather, if we can work in a harmony with other regional and sub-regional organizations, we can make faster development in the SAARC region.
So could you shed a little more light on how SAARC can maintain its central role at a time when external actors, or in your very own terminology, extended actors are increasingly shaping, South Asia's strategic choices? How does SAARC maintain its central role?
Now, I think if we are united in our commitment that we have made 40 years ago, I don't think there any kind of say global situation, of course, will affect all countries. There is no denial of the fact that because we are so interconnected now globally to each other. So anything happen to our extended neighborhood or even beyond the region will directly or indirectly affect us. So having said that, I think if we are fully aware of the potentials that we have within the region, and if we sincerely work to get the benefit out of those, I think SAARC is still the best answer.
Now let's turn to the economic front, Your Excellency, an area or a domain where the region holds great promises because it's one of the most rapidly rising regions in the world. Yet the delivery has been far below the potential. Intra-SAARC trade, if you look at the figures, well below 6%, which is again one of the lowest in the entire world. What structural or political barriers are creating or holding SAARC back?
You are absolutely right that the intra-regional trade in SAARC is really quite low, which is between 5 and 6%, and the potential, as you have said, is tremendous. Currently, the intra-regional trade between SAARC is around 20 odd billion, around 23 billion or so. But according to a World Bank estimate, if we can remove only few small barriers in the SAARC process, it can grow to almost 67%. That not 67, 67 billion, from 23 billion to 67 billion in 5 years. That means it will be almost tripled. So there, I think, if we keep aside all the, say, contentious issues and go ahead and give importance to the trade, I think that would be the best way to go ahead.
With the world reorganizing the supply chains, Your Excellency, can SAARC seize the opportunity to becoming a competitive regional hub? What are the prospect areas that you see?
Yes, those global scenarios, especially in the trade regime, is, I think, indirectly bringing an opportunity for our SAARC region to think about the trade within the region. So since we are facing challenge of having trade with the West due to the new tariff rules, especially in the United States, I think it is a time for us to rethink and also redesign our plan in the SAARC and increase the SAARC intra-SAARC trade. I think this can be taken as an opportunity. What we are seeing in the other region, like in our extended neighbor, the ASEAN is doing that way, and they are trying to utilize their strength within the region. And China is also trying to have strengthen their trade partnership with the ASEAN and others. I think this is also big opportunity for us for increasing the intra-regional trade and the trade with the eastern our eastern neighbors like the ASEAN, China, Japan, Korea, all those countries.
Mm-hmm. Let's now switch to an issue where borders do not matter. Look at our region; it is ground zero for climate vulnerability. Why hasn't the shared climate challenge translated into shared climate strategy under the SAARC banner?
No, actually, I would like to add something here with your comment. SAARC is, I think, the climate change took a center stage in the SAARC process. Our leaders in 2010 in the Thimphu summit, we have adopted the Thimphu Statement of Climate Change, where we have laid out our plan how to deal with this climate challenges together as a region. because it is sometimes only the regional effect, initiative may not be enough sometimes, because as you said that it doesn't have any border. We have to have greater cooperation in the international level. That's why I have mentioned earlier that are we actually working together as we have envisioned in our charter, that the strengthening cooperation among the member states in the international forums on the matter of common interest. So this is a matter of common interest. I think time has come for the SAARC to sit again and also draw a common strategy how we will negotiate our position in the COP and other climate related forum. First we have to consolidate our strategy within ourselves, which we are doing actually through the statement of climate change. The SAARC Secretariat had arranged in last 2 years several capacity building and also initiatives, and then those are the enhance the capacity of SAARC member states, assess the viability of institutions of SAARC climate fund, and also frame a regional response to the transboundary air pollution. So we are working at the expert level to draw a plan for the region, so that in course of time it can be voiced in the international forum like COPs and other climate related initiatives.
So directly or indirectly related with climate change or the vulnerability that this phenomena brings around is migration. And I think this is one of the major, they say it cuts both ways, but many see it as a major issue facing the South Asian region. That's migration, right? So millions of South Asians are at the moment migrating within and beyond the region. Demographic shifts are really reshaping economies and societies inside South Asia already, having a lot of repercussions and long-term effects. Could SAARC envision a framework, Your Excellency, for safe, legal and mutually beneficial mobility?
Yes, actually in the recent initiatives of SAARC, I think leaders have also discussed about the safe and orderly migration, which is of course regarding the migration of the SAARC member countries nationals to the outside world. So there is scope for further cooperation in this. But if you talk about the intra-regional migration, I don't know exactly what is the number. I don't think it is too big, and those are quite temporary because of some situations arises in some of the countries for political reason or something. Sometimes people go and they come back again to their home. So those are not very permanent kind of thing, what I believe. But if we look holistically about the global migration scenario, I think South Asia still have a lot of potentials, and I think South Asia is the largest region in terms of the global migration, because we contribute to almost maybe half of the global migration by the South Asian population in the Middle East, even in the Western countries, in Malaysia and Singapore and all other countries.
So do you mean migration is not one among the major issues that should be troubling the region at the moment? No, if we talk about the outward migration outside the region, I think there is a lot of potentials still there, and if we work together to draw a common plan for the South Asians to protect our migrants who are going to work abroad, that would be then it will strengthen our position in the receiving countries, because we know that in some of the receiving countries our people are not getting their rights properly. So if we can work together, I think we can have a very strong policy as a regional policy through which we can negotiate with the receiving countries where our people are going in large number and working, and sometimes they are not getting enough their rights and the support that they desire for. So is SAARC even thinking about incorporating in pursuing any sort of efforts to this effect?
Yes, it is very much there in the SAARC agenda.
Okay. So let me move on to your own institutional sphere, Your Excellency. Critics of, let me quote them, often say that the Secretariat lacks teeth, meaning, you have to function under limited resources, limited autonomy, and limited mandate. That's what the critics have been on and off saying, right? So what reforms do you believe are essential for the SARC to deliver real impact in the next decade?
You see, reform is always an ongoing process. So SARC Secretariat has also made a lot of, very strong contribution in the SARC's 40 years of journey. So since we are not actually having the higher level meetings like summit, Council of Ministers, so this interim period, it is always difficult to keep the professionalism among the staffs. So we are quite mindful about it, and from the Secretariat we are trying to keep our, especially from my position, I'm trying to keep my colleagues engaged with international or other international forums, so that our professional competency doesn't get affected due to the lack of higher level interactions or higher level meetings.
So as you said, SARC summits have remained stalled for many years now, and that is the prime and the core concern for the region and even the institution itself. So do you see or foresee a political opening for their revival?
As I said initially, as a diplomat, I'm always optimistic. And diplomacy and dialogue is the best way to resolve any stalemate in any situation. So I am fully optimistic, and there is nothing called the last word in politics. So I'm sure things will get momentum. Maybe we have to have some more patience.
At the moment, as we are holding this conversation, Your Excellency, we cannot do away without talking the shift that the region is at the moment seeing some unprecedented episodes. Just a quick recall across Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, recently we witnessed a generational jolt, right? Youth-led mobilizations which strongly demanded accountability, transparency, and a dismantling of the entrenched political cultures, quote unquote. Do you see this generational awakening, as they call it, Gen Z awakening, as a disruptive force, or do you see it as a democratic correction?
I see in both ways. I think we, in the SARC, we have given enough importance to the youth, children and the women. So if we continue to follow up with those initiatives that we have taken under the SARC umbrella, I can assure you that things will get much better. Here, if you say Gen Z or the youth movement, whatever name you call it, actually there is a big generational shift we have seen because of the technological advancement and the free flow of information. So the new generation now, they are quite quite informed now. Sometimes they are, it can be positively informed or negatively informed because of some say media and social media's intervention. It cuts sometimes both ways. So if we have free and open dialogue with the new generations, and as we continue it on a regular basis, I think because their concern needs to be seen and also addressed. That's what they want. So if we take initiative beforehand, so the cost of these kind of movements will come much less, or this kind of movement will not happen even.
And this generation that we are talking of, this is not only loud on the streets, right? It's loud online. And the digital landscape, certainly, we need to admit, that has turned South Asia's youth into a hyper-connected, political force. Movements now cross borders, through narratives, through shares, through statements, and through solidarity. So, how does institutions like SARC, engage with a generation that organizes in real time and demands results with urgency?
Yes, we actually, as from the SARC, especially from the SARC Secretariat, we always wait for the guidance and from our leaders. So I definitely expect that our leaders will meet and also draw a common plan for the SARC region, how to deal with this and how to secure the future of the next generation. Actually, by securing their future, we are securing our future also, because our future will be on their hand. They will take our place very soon. So if we look into it in a very positive framework and continuously engaged and see what are their concerns, and if we try to address those, I think we can create a much better situation.
And this brings us to a point, or to the idea of imagining SARC, not of the past, but of the future, Your Excellency. If you were to design SARC 2.0, right, that speaks directly to South Asia's Gen Z, what would be the core pillars of this reimagined institution?
We have to assure our new generation a better future. Not only assurance, we have to deliver it in reality. So in order to do that, I'm sure our leadership are constantly working on this. Definitely we will see much better South Asia in the coming days.
That's great optimism, and we really look forward to that, Your Excellency. So finally, let's leave our viewers with a very forward-looking vision from your leadership. If you could articulate a bold, future-facing vision for SARC at its 50 years milestone, about 10 years from now, one that transcends the political hesitation and reflects the aspirations of 1.8 billion people living here, what would it be?
Okay. Actually, it's 10 years down the line. 10 years is quite a long time. I don't expect that situation will remain same in 10 years. There will be a lot of changes, and change for good. Definitely, I'm quite optimistic, quite sure about it. So in 10 years, there will be at least 3 Secretary General after me on the SARC. So I'm sure they will also have the opportunity to work for the SARC 2.0, as you have just mentioned. There I will give special focus on the trade. If we can materialize the SAFTA in its true spirit, I think the situation, especially the economic situation, will in the region will take a dramatic shift. As I said, from 23 billion to 67 billion in only 5 years. Maybe in 10 years we can reach to 100 billion marks. So when the economic situation changes, so automatically you will see the effect in the society, and you will see a whole new South Asia after 10 years.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for taking out the time to come over and share with us your very valued insights and thoughts.
Thank you so much for inviting me and also share my thoughts.
Right. Reaping from the conversation we just had, SARC stands at a crossroads, torn between conflict and cooperation, yet still holding the possibility of unity, standing strong on the foundations of optimism. Today's conversation very well reflects that regional peace and prosperity depend not only on governments, but on vision, dialogue, and commitment. Therefore, the future of South Asia remains a story still being written. That's it from Geopod this time. Until next time, goodbye.
पाटन दरबार स्क्वायर विश्व सम्पदामा पर्नुको आधारहरूको कुरा गर्दै सबभन्दा पहिले त यो विश्व सम्पदामा युनेस्कोले 1979 मा यो पाटन दरबार क्षेत्र अथवा त्यो बेला चाहिँ काठमाडौँ भ्याली वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइट भनेर काठमाडौँ उपत्यकाको 7 वटा विभिन्न क्षेत्रहरू जसलाई अहिले हामी संरक्षित स्मारक क्षेत्र भन्छौँ 7 वटा विभिन्न क्षेत्रहरूलाई काठमाडौँ भ्याली वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइटमा इन्लिस्टिङ गरेको थियो। अब त्यसमा सबभन्दा ठुलो कुरो त के भन्दाखेरि तपाईँले पाटन दरबार स्क्वायर, काठमाडौँ दरबार स्क्वायर, भक्तपुर दरबार स्क्वायर हेर्नुभयो भने यो 17औं शताब्दीसम्म मल्ल राजाहरूले यहाँ शासन गर्दाखेरिको दरबार क्षेत्र हो। दरबार स्क्वायर नामैले अब धेरैले सोध्छन् दरबार स्क्वायर भनेको के हो भनेर। वास्तवमा यो तीनटा त्यो बेला चाहिँ यो तीनटा अहिलेको ठुलो सहरहरू पहिला तीनटा छुट्टा छुट्टै राज्य नै थिए, छुट्टा छुट्टै देशकै रूपमा स्थापित थिए, मल्ल राजाहरू थिए। त्यसकारण राजाहरूको दरबार भएको कारणले दरबार स्क्वायर भन्ने हो। अब पाटन दरबार स्क्वायरको कुरा गर्दाखेरि पाटन दरबार स्क्वायरमा पाटन दरबार पुरानो मल्ल राजाको दरबार लगायत यहाँ भएका विभिन्न मन्दिरहरू हेर्नुभयो भनेदेखि यहाँ 16औं शताब्दीदेखि लिएर 17औं 18औं शताब्दीसम्मका पैगोडा शैलीका र शिखर शैलीका विभिन्न मन्दिरहरू। त्यसमा सबैभन्दा पुरानो भनेको 1565 मा बनेको चारनारायणको मन्दिर हो। यो चारनारायणको मन्दिर लगायत अरू मन्दिरहरूमा हेर्नुभयो भने हामी यसलाई हाम्रो पैगोडा शैली भन्छौँ। यो चाहिँ नि नेपाली एकदम बेग्लै किसिमको आफ्नै पहिचान भएको पैगोडा शैली हो। तपाईँले साउथ इस्ट एसियातिर अन्त हेर्न जानुभयो भने पैगोडा शैली भनेको भिन्नै प्रकारको छ। तर हाम्रो यहाँको पैगोडा शैली भनेको मल्टी रुफ, धेरैवटा छाना भएको, झिङ्गटीको छाना भएको त्यस्तो मन्दिरलाई चाहिँ हामी पैगोडा शैली भन्छौँ। यो चारनारायणको मन्दिर लगायत अन्य पैगोडा शैलीको मन्दिरहरूमा हेर्नुभयो भने काष्ठकलाले यति भरिपूर्ण छ। तपाईँले प्रत्येक एक एकवटा सानो टुँडालदेखि लिएर त्यहाँको झ्यालहरू हेर्नुभयो भनेदेखि यो पक्कै पनि विश्वमा चिनाउन सक्ने खालको नेपाली कलाकृति रहेको छ। यो वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइटमा इन्लिस्टिङ हुनुमा सायद यिनै मुख्य कारण होला।
पाटन दरबार कसले बनाएर कहिले बनायो भन्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ इतिहासमा एकिनमिति पाउन सकिँदैन। तर यसको ऐतिहासिकताको चर्चा गर्दा चाहिँ किराँत कालदेखि नै सुरुवात गर्नुपर्ने छ। यसको नाम एल भएको कारणले गर्दा कसैले एलम्बरको नामबाट एल रहन गयो या पनि भन्ने कुरा छ। त्यसपछि आएर हामीले लिच्छवीकालीनमा चाहिँ 643 को एउटा अभिलेख यो केशव नारायण चोकमा देखिन्छ भने अर्को 570 एडीको चाहिँ मङ्गहिटी धारा पनि देख्न सकिन्छ। त्योभन्दा पछिको संरचनाहरू चाहिँ सबै मल्ल शासकको बेलामा बनेको देखिन्छ।
यो मन्दिर चाहिँ नि राजा सिद्धि नरसिंह मल्लले 1636-37 मा बनाउनु भएको। 1636 त्यो बेलामा हामीसँग ढुङ्गे टेक्नोलोजी त्यति थिएन। ढुङ्गाको टेक्नोलोजी चाहिँ लिच्छवी कालमा धेरै राम्रो थियो। त्यसपछि हामीले त्यो ढुङ्गाको टेक्नोलोजीमा त्यति त्यो ढुङ्गाको मठ मन्दिरहरू बनाउने टेक्नोलोजीमा त्यति हामी अगाडि बढेनौँ। तर इँटा र माटोकोमा काठकोमा चाहिँ पैगोडा शैलीमा हामी धेरै माथि गयौँ। त्यसपछि ढुङ्गाको जुन शैलीमा जानु पर्दाखेरि त्यो बेलामा हाम्रो यहाँको मिस्त्रीहरूलाई साह्रै समस्या पर्यो। माटोको चाहिँ अडाइदिन सक्छु त्यो ठुलो अल्गो त्यो गगनचुम्बी त्यो बेलाको हिसाबले। यो त ढुङ्गाको त हामी सक्दैनौँ भन्ने भएपछि त्यो समस्या गनगन हुँदै गर्दाखेरि ठड्याउन नसक्ने भइसक्यो। एकजना बुढो मान्छे जान्ने मान्छे आएर मोडेल सोडेल बनाएर यसरी गर्नुहोस् भने सिकाएर जानुभयो। अनि उहाँलाई विश्वकर्माको अवतार मानेर उहाँलाई सम्झनामा उहाँले पूजा गरेर अनि त्यसपछि कृष्ण मन्दिर बनाउन सुरु गरेको भन्यो। तल्लो तल्लामा हेर्नु होला तपाईँले बच्चाहरूको लागि खेल्न रमाइलो, बच्चाहरूले बुझ्ने ज्ञान सिम्बा शार्दुला राखेको छ। त्योभन्दा माथि जानुभयो भने तपाईँले देख्नुहुन्छ रामायणको मर्यादा, समाजमा मर्यादा कसरी कायम गर्ने सामान्य बच्चाभन्दा अलिकति माथिल्लो स्तरको लागि ज्ञान छ। रामायणको ज्ञानहरू, रामायणको चित्रपट छ त्यहाँ। त्यसमा अक्षरले पनि कुदेको छ, यो भनेको यो गरेको यो वर्णन छ। अनि अझ त्योभन्दा माथिल्लो स्तरमा जानुहुन्छ भने महाभारतको राजनीतिको ज्ञान दिएको छ हेर्नुहोस् है सामान्यभन्दा माथिल्लो स्तरमा गएको छ महाभारतको ज्ञान दिने कोही त्योभन्दा पनि माथि जानुहुन्छ भने बनारस काशी दार्शनिक ज्ञान धर्म मात्र होइन धर्मको पनि प्रकाण्ड माथि पुगेपछि दार्शनिक ज्ञानहरू राखेको छ त्योभन्दा माथि तपाईँ एक तला माथि जानुभयो भने तपाईँले के पाउनुहुन्छ फेरि शिवको मूर्ति पाउनुहुन्छ शिव अवतार पनि त्यही हुन्छ सबभन्दा माथिल्लो तल्लामा फेरि हेर्नु होला तपाईँले देख्नुहुन्छ 4 नारायण राखिदिएको छ शिलालेखमा भने जस्तै सृष्टिको वैकुण्ठ
अब यो म पर्को टोलमा बसेको नाताले चाहिँ पर्को टोलबाटै हराएको लक्ष्मीनारायणको चाहिँ मूर्ति जो छ त्यसको बारेमा चाहिँ अब खोजनीति गर्ने हाम्रो कर्तव्य पनि भयो र मेरो पनि कर्तव्य हुन आयो यो हराएको चाहिँ करिब यो 44 सालतिर हो खास चाहिँ अनि हामीले चाहिँ अब मूर्ति हराइसकेपछि अब त्यहाँ भक्तजनहरूलाई पूजा गर्नको लागि अब के गर्ने अब मन्दिर चाहिँ छ तर मूर्ति नभएपछि त त्यहाँ त अब अशोभनीय हुने भयो त्यसैले हामीले त्यसको चाहिँ अब अर्को छुट्टै एउटा लक्ष्मीनारायणकै अब स्वरूपको चाहिँ एउटा मूर्ति बनाएर चाहिँ प्रतिष्ठापन गऱ्यौँ हामीले त्यसपछि एकजना हाम्रो यो जयलिन भन्ने एकजना आर्टिस्ट हुनुहुन्छ कलाकार हुनुहुन्छ उहाँले चाहिँ हराएको मूर्तिको बारेमा चाहिँ त्यो मूर्तिको पनि उहाँले स्केच गर्नुभएको छ त्यो स्केच चाहिँ उहाँले कहाँबाट लिनुभयो भनेपछि यो हाम्रो लैनसिन वाङदेलले चाहिँ लेख्नुभएको एउटा द स्टोलन इमेजेस अफ नेपाल भन्ने एउटा किताब छ त्यो किताबबाट चाहिँ उहाँले लिनुभएको अनि त्यो स्केचबाट चाहिँ उहाँ चाहिँ अमेरिकाको चाहिँ यो डल्लास म्युजियममा चाहिँ भ्रमणमा जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ देख्नु भएको छ त्यो जो मैले चाहिँ स्केच गरेको त्यही नै हो भन्ने उहाँ लागिसकेपछि चाहिँ अब त्यो कुरा चाहिँ गभर्मेन्ट लेभलमा पुग्यो त्यसपछि त्यहाँबाट चाहिँ ल्याउने प्रक्रिया सुरु भयो अनि त्यो प्रक्रिया सुरु भइसकेपछि चाहिँ अब यहाँ हाम्रो महानगरपालिकाले पनि अब आवश्यक चाहिँ सहयोगहरू जुटाएको छ त्यो ल्याउने काममा चाहिँ त्यसै अरू थुप्रै चाहिँ अब हाम्रा संस्कृति प्रेमीहरू हैन अब यो हितैषीहरू शुभेच्छकहरू सबैले चाहिँ सहयोग गरेर यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ प्रतिस्थापन गर्न चाह्यौँ हामीले
मणिमण्डपको बारे कुरा गर्नुपर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो यो मणिमण्डप चाहिँ दुईटा पार्टी छ जुन त्यो मङ्गल बजारको त्यो हिटी तल जानेकोमा चाहिँ अनि त्यो पार्टी बस्नको लागि मात्र होइन कि त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ कल्चर र त्यसमा चाहिँ हिस्टोरी धेरै कुरा जोडिरहेको छ स्पेसली कुरा गर्नुपर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यसमा चाहिँ हाम्रो मच्छिन्द्रनाथ जात्रामा चाहिँ एकदम ठुलो रोल खेल्छ त्यसले चाहिँ अब हामी तल जाँदाखेरि दाहिनेपट्टिकोमा चाहिँ त्यहाँनिर बसेर हाम्रो गुठीको मच्छिन्द्रनाथ गुठीको चाहिँ मानिसहरू अनि प्लस पानेजु खलकहरू अनि ज्योतिष खलकहरू चाहिँ बसेर त्यहाँनिर चाहिँ कुन दिन जात्रा गर्ने कुन दिन रथ तान्ने कुन दिन फोटो देखाउने त्यो सबै डेटहरू चाहिँ त्यहाँ बसेर चाहिँ सबै खलकहरू बसेर चाहिँ सहमतिमा चाहिँ त्यो फिक्स गर्ने गरिन्छ सो अहिलेसम्म पनि त्यो चाहिँ कल्चर चाहिँ अहिलेसम्म पनि कन्टिन्यू भइरहेको छ
दरबार स्क्वायर भनौँ अथवा पाटन सहर भनौँ यो चाहिँ नि प्राचीन कालदेखि नै लिच्छवी काल अथवा त्योभन्दा पनि अगाडि किराँत कालदेखिकै महत्त्वपूर्ण ऐतिहासिक पुरातात्विक महत्त्वको स्थल हो। यहाँ चाहिँ नि मूर्त अमूर्त सम्पदाहरूले चाहिँ धनी छ यो सहर। यहाँ चाहिँ जस्तो अब हामीले दरबार स्क्वायरबाट बाहिर हेऱ्यौँ भनेदेखि चाहिँ नि विभिन्न वास्तु संरचनाहरू देख्न सकिन्छ। यी संरचनाहरू चाहिँ नि मल्लकालदेखिका संरचना भए पनि यसले चाहिँ मल्लकालभन्दा धेरै अगाडिदेखिको इतिहास बोकेको छ। यहाँ चाहिँ नि यो मूर्त सम्पदा मात्रै होइन, यहाँ चाहिँ नि विभिन्न अमूर्त सम्पदाहरू पनि त्यत्तिकै मात्रामा भएको कारणले गर्दा चाहिँ नि यहाँ पर्यटकहरू आउने यसको चाहिँ नि महत्त्व विश्वमा नै प्रसिद्ध रहेको छ।
आजभन्दा 382 वर्ष अगाडि राजा सिद्धनरसिंह मल्लको पालामा उनका गुरुद्वय हरिवंश राजोपाध्याय तथा विश्वनाथ राजोपाध्यायको सहयोग र सल्लाहमा चाहिँ यो नाच देश र जनताको कल्याणको लागि 5 दिनबाट सुरु भएको थियो। अनि पछि उनका छोरा भन्नाले सिद्धनरसिंह मल्लका छोरा श्रीनिवास मल्लले यस नाचमा बाठो प्याख त्यो भनेको लोक नाटक 7 दिनको हुन्छ, यो नाचहरूलाई थपेर यस नाचलाई चाहिँ 12 दिनसम्म सञ्चालन गर्नुभयो। पछि उनका पनि छोरा श्रीनिवास मल्लका छोरा योग नरेन्द्र मल्लले चाहिँ यो नाचमा चाहिँ अरू उषाहरण र माधव बानल भन्ने नाचहरू थपेर यसलाई चाहिँ कार्तिक महिनाभरि त्यो भनेको 27 दिन तिहारको 3 दिन बाहेक 1 महिना सञ्चालन गर्नुभयो। यो कार्तिक महिनाभरि सञ्चालन गरिने भएकोले पनि यो नाचलाई चाहिँ कार्तिक नाच भनेको हो। र अनि यो नाचमा चाहिँ हाम्रो नेवार समुदायको बाहुल्यता रहने गर्छ। हाम्रो नेवार समुदायको सम्पूर्ण जातहरू माथिल्लोदेखि लिएर सम्पूर्ण तल्लो जातसम्मको यसमा यो नाचमा समावेश भएको छ। अनि विभिन्न जात अनुसारै यसमा कलाकारहरू साथसाथै यसमा चाहिँ सहयोग गर्नेहरूलाई पनि भिन्न कामहरू छुट्याइ आएको छ, जुन हालसम्म पनि निरन्तरता भइरहेको छ।
छोरा नातिहरूले भोलि पर्सि चाहिँ हाम्रा बाजे बराजुले के बनाएर गए, हामी कहाँ चाहिँ कस्तो कस्तो किसिमको टेक्नोलोजीहरू थिए, हाम्रो कल्चर के थिए इत्यादि कुराहरू उनीहरूले पनि जानोस् भन्ने हिसाबले यस्ता चिजहरूलाई चाहिँ बचाइराख्नुपर्ने एकदमै आवश्यक ठान्छु। त्यसकारण चाहिँ भुइँचालोले जति पनि भत्के ती सबै चाहिँ फेरि कुनै चाहिँ नभत्किएकालाई हामीले रेट्रोफिटिङ गरेर पनि जोगायौँ र भत्किएकालाई पुनर्निर्माण गरेर फेरि पुरानै शैलीमा पुरानै जति पनि सामानहरू हामीले पुनः प्रयोग गर्न योग्य थिए त्यो सामानहरू जुन बटुलेर राखेको थियो त्यसलाई नै फेरि पुनः प्रयोग गरेर हामीले मन्दिरहरू बनायौँ। जस्तो हामीले नयाँ बनाउन नसकिने भन्ने होइन कि नयाँ बनाउँदाखेरि त्यसको जति महत्त्व हुन्छ त्यसलाई हामी चाहिँ भनौँ न अब अर्को 50 वर्षपछि हामीले त्यो नयाँ राम्रै बनाए पनि यो चाहिँ 72 सालको भुइँचालोपछि बनाए यसको चाहिँ 75 वर्ष भएको छ भन्ने चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ जुन रिसर्चबाट देख्छौँ। तर अहिले जुन मन्दिरहरू छन् 300-400 वर्ष पुरानो छन् त्यसलाई नै हामीले जोगाइराख्यो भने अझ त्यसको चाहिँ महत्त्व बढ्दै जान्छ। त्यसकारण जति सक्यो त्यति चाहिँ हामीले पुरानो सामग्रीहरूलाई पुनः प्रयोग गरेर त्यसलाई नै चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ युज गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ मान्यता राख्दछ।
पाटन दरबार स्क्वायर भनेको चाहिँ ललितपुरको मुटुमै छ, जसलाई हामीले मङ्गल बजार भनिन्छ। लिच्छवी कालदेखि यसमा विभिन्न मणिगल मणि हुँदै यसलाई चाहिँ पछि अपभ्रंश भएर मङ्गल बजार भएको हो, जसमा यसमा इतिहास र पुरातात्विक प्रमाणमा 60वटा मणि छ भनिन्छन्, जसमध्ये मणि केशव, मणि भैरव, मणि गणेश, मणि कुमार, मणि धारा, मणि गुफा र मणि केशवर गरी यी 60वटा मणिहरू छन्, जुन यो मङ्गल बजारको यो पाटन दरबारको सेरोफेरोभित्रै रहेको छ। जसमध्ये मणि आइटी भनेको काठमाडौँ उपत्यकाको लिच्छवीकालीन धारा हो, जसलाई मानदेवको नाति भारोदीले बनाएको भनेको अभिलेख कुदिएको छ। मङ्गल बजारको जुन मणि धारा हालसम्म अविरल 1500 वर्षदेखि अविरल रूपमा पानी बग्दै आएको र स्थानीयको सांस्कृतिक सामाजिक महत्त्वपूर्ण रूपमा रहेको धारा हो। राजपूत कलामा इन्फ्लुएन्स भएको कलाले भरिपूर्ण भएको चाहिँ चित्रकला हो जुन चाहिँ 16औं शताब्दीमा बनेको। यसमा विशेष गरी सिंगारको रूपमा कृष्णलीला सम्बन्धी त्यसको ड्रेस कोड मल्लकालीन कस्तो ड्रेसहरू लाउँथ्यो हुन त त्यसमा राजा आफै भएको चित्र पनि हो। त्यसमा सिद्धि नरसिंह मल्लको आफ्नो पोर्ट्रेट पनि जुन रहेको छ।
सुन्दरी चोकको सबसे मुख्य सुन्दर कुरा भनेको चाहिँ यस चोकमा रहेको यो सोसाइटी हो जसमा चाहिँ यो तान्त्रिज्म अथवा तान्त्रिक देवी देवताहरूको चाहिँ बढी प्रभाव रहेको छ र सोसाइटीमा चाहिँ जुन एउटा जसबाट चाहिँ उखु जस्तै मिठो पानी आउँछ भने त्यसको सोसाइटीसँगै वरपर रहेका तान्त्रिक देवी देवताका मूर्तिहरूले पनि सुन्दर चोकलाई सुन्दर बनाएको छ। यहाँ अर्को काष्ठकलाको रूपमा चाहिँ शिवलिङ्गहरू पनि रहेका छन्। यहाँ जहाँ चाहिँ 509वटा शिवलिङ्ग रहेका छन् भने तिनीहरूको नाम चाहिँ 501वटा जुन चाहिँ प्रचलित लिपिमा लेखिएको छ र तपाईले यहाँ शिवलिङ्गमा पनि उपत्यकाका 64वटा ज्योतिर्लिङ्गहरूको नामहरू पनि यहाँ पाउन सक्नुहुन्छ। राजा सिद्धि नरसिंह मल्ललाई चाहिँ हरेक टोलबाट चाहिँ उपहार स्वरूप काष्ठ झ्यालहरू जुन चाहिँ हरेक बुट्टाहरूले उत्कीर्ण एकदम राम्रो खालका रहेका छन् जसले पनि सुन्दर चोकलाई सुन्दर बनाउन चाहिँ सहयोग गरेको छ। प्लस यहाँका टुडालहरूमा रहेका आकृतिहरू इरोटिक आकृतिहरूदेखि लिएर विभिन्न नारी मूर्तिहरूले पनि यस सुन्दर चोकलाई चाहिँ सुन्दर बनाउन मद्दत गरेको छ। साथै यहाँ रहेका सिद्धि नरसिंह मल्लको खाट जुन चाहिँ ढुङ्गाबाट बनेको छ जहाँ राजा सिद्धि नरसिंह मल्लले चाहिँ गर्मीमा पञ्चाग्नि तापेर र जाडोमा नाङ्गे बसेर तपस्या गर्दथे भन्ने
यसमध्ये मुख्य जात्रा भनेको भीमसेन जात्रा, गाई जात्रा, कृष्णाष्टमी धेरै जात्राहरू छन्। सबभन्दा ठुलो जात्रा भनेको भीमसेन जात्रा हो। भीमसेन जात्रा ललितपुरको सबभन्दा ठुलो जात्रा हाम्रो रथ मच्छिन्द्रनाथको रथ यात्रा पछिको ठुलो जात्रा हो। यसमा त यो बेलकी यो श्रावण भाद्र महिनामा पर्दछ, कहिले श्रावणमा कहिले भाद्रमा पर्छ। यो कृष्णाष्टमीको कहिले भोलिपल्ट कहिले पर्सिपल्ट यो जात्रा
मा काशी विश्वनाथ मन्दिरमा मुगल बादशाहले आक्रमण गरेका थिए। आक्रमण गरेको बेलामा काठमाडौँमा पनि खबर पुग्यो यहाँ मुसलमानले काशी विश्वनाथमा काशी नगरमा आक्रमण गर्न लागेको छ भनेर यहाँको हिन्दूहरूलाई पनि बडो चोट लाग्यो। अनि यहाँको हिन्दू भागीरथ उहाँहरू चाहिँ नेपालको फौज सङ्कलन गरेर अब हामी बनारसमा गएर लड्न जाने, हामी विश्वनाथ मन्दिर बचाउने, काशीलाई बचाउने भनेर फौज जम्मा गरेर उतातिर हिँडे। अनि जाँदै गर्दै मकवान पुगेपछि उहाँहरूलाई के खबर आयो, काशी त ध्वस्त पारिसक्यो, जितिसक्यो औरङ्गजेबले, काशी विश्वनाथ पनि ध्वस्त पारिसक्यो भनेपछि लौ अब हामी लड्न जाने भनेको त्यसैको लागि हो। अब लडिसक्यो, सबै स्याक गरिसक्यो, काशी नै नष्ट गरिसक्यो भनेपछि अब हामी गएर के काम, गए पनि हामी मर्न जाने मात्र, हामी हारिहाल्छौँ, हामीले केही गर्न सक्यो भने सबै खेतपूर्वक फर्केर आयो। फर्केर आएपछि भागिरहेको भैनाले मनमा के खेलिरह्यो भनेपछि यो मेरो काम फत्ते भएन, काशीलाई बचाउन सकियो। अब सानो फौज गयो तर आकाङ्क्षा त ठुलो रहेछ भने अनि उहाँले के सोच्नुभयो भने म नै यहाँ काशीको मन्दिर विश्वनाथ बनाउँछु।
मासु उभो गर्ने, बलि दिने यो गरिसकेपछि तलेजो भवानीमा नवमी र दशमीको दिनमा जसरी बलि दिन्छ त्यो बलि दिएको अब यहाँ रगरको आहालै बग्थ्यो। अब आजकल त 5वटा बग्यो, 5वटा राङ्गो मात्रै। पहिले 54वटा भन्थ्यो, भक्तपुरमा 54वटै दिन्थ्यो, काठमाडौँमा 54वटै राङ्गो बोका बलि दिन्छ अहिले पनि। तर पाटनमा चाहिँ अहिले 5-5वटा मात्रै बलि दिन्छ। अनि त्यो बलि दिइसकेपछि जुन खुँडा त्यो बलि दिँदाखेरि प्रयोग गर्ने सामानहरू जसरी रक्ताम्य हुन्छ नि
त्यो रगदामी भएको भाँडाकुँडा खुँडाहरू तरबार खुकुरी यो सबै चाहिँ नि तलेजु भवानीको पूर्वपट्टिको तलेजु भवानी मन्दिरको पूर्वपट्टि रहेको जुन पन्नाखाल बगैँचा छ बगैँचामा एउटा ठुलो पोखरी छ त्यो पोखरीमा एउटा धारो एउटा पनि छ जसको ढुङ्गे डाँडा त्यो ढुङ्गे डाँडामा आएको पानीले नै पखाल्नुपर्छ भनेर एउटा शिलालेखमै उल्लेख गरेको छ अनि यो भण्डारखालमा त्यो पखालिसकेपछि जुन त्यो रगतको पानी अनि त्यसमा टाँसेको मासुहरू जुन त्यो पोखरीमा जान्छ त्यो पोखरीमा चाहिँ माछा पालेको पनि हुन्छ अनि त्यहाँ त्यतिखेर हाँस पाल्ने माछा पाल्ने गर्थ्यो भन्ने चाहिँ अब सुन्नमा आएको छ तर अहिले त्यसको केही अब प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण त छैन अनि त्यो ठाउँमा सिद्धिनरसिंह मल्ल र सिद्धिनरसिंह मल्लको रानी त्यसपछिको राजाहरू र रानीहरू त्यहाँ पोखरीमा अवलोकन गर्ने त्यही ठाउँमा नुहाउने त्यही ठाउँमा त्यो लुगा फेर्ने यस्तो पनि यस्तो गर्ने व्यवस्था अनुरूप त्यो ठाउँ बनाएको छ त्यो ठाउँलाई चाहिँ कलात्मक रूपबाट एउटा मूर्तिहरू पुरेर मूर्ति दायाँ बायाँ तोरण राखेर विभिन्न कलाकृतिहरूले परिपूर्ण एउटा सानो कोठा एउटा बनाएको छ बरन्डा जस्तो बनाएको छ त्यो ठाउँमा बसेर चाहिँ नि अवलोकन गर्ने भन्ने राजाहरूले चाहिँ त्यस्तो गर्छ भनेर अनि त्यो जुन राजा बसेर अवलोकन गर्ने छ त्यसको माथितिर एउटा गुम्बज जस्तो एउटा बार्दली जस्तो एउटा ठाउँ बनाएको छ त्यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ नि रानी मात्रै जानु पाउने अनि रानी बसेर अवलोकन गर्ने अनि त्यहाँ तलेजुको पुजारीले पूजाआजा सकिसकेपछि प्रसाद दिनुको लागि अनि तलेजुको पुजारी एकजना जानु पाउने रानी र तलेजुको पुजारी दुईजना मात्रै जानु पाउने भनेर शिलालेखमा उल्लेख गरेको छ
Welcome to the Hinterlands. This weekly show weaves together stories from the hinterlands of Nepal. As said, this takes you beyond the cities and highways into the heart of Nepal's survival landscapes. Nepal is more than a postcard of monuments and mountains. It's a country alive with stories, laughter, ideas, and everyday magic. Step beyond the busy cities and familiar highways, and you will find a different rhythm of life. One shaped by close-knit communities, open fields, shared dreams, and quiet determination. So, let us get on board this journey into Nepal's rural landscapes, where life is not about headlines, but about people. Here, challenges exist, yes, but so do creativity. I'm Rosina Rai, and you'll be leading you into this journey every week. When we talk about Nepal, we often picture mountains, temples, or busy cities. But today, let's take you somewhere different, somewhere warm, vibrant, and full of rhythm, to the far western plains of Nepal, to Kanchanpur. Kanchanpur is a living cultural crossroads. This is a place where traditions does not sit quietly in history books. They echo in magic and show up proudly in everyday life. And nothing captures this spirit better than the Bhua festival. Let us walk you through Bhua. Across the hills of Nepal's far western region, the Bhua festival or Bhua Parva is celebrated with great enthusiasm. The festival is a joyous reminder of the triumph of good over evil. The streets of Kailali and Kanchanpur, along with the bustling towns of Thangadi and Mahendranagar, come alive with the spirit of this age-old tradition. Falling on the lunar new moon day of the Nepali month of Pous, usually in December, the festival continues for nearly a week. The festivities unite communities in pride, joy, and shared cultural identity, while the elderly stress the cultural heritage, strengthens social bonds, promotes harmony within communities. The youths find it amusing to be a part of also.
त्यो एकता पनि हो कवाज खेलाइ हो यो आर्मीको कवाज खेलाइ भनेपछि अनुशासन पनि यानि हुनु एक्लै ओडो एक्लै बुढो जान पाइएन भयो तब एकको एकताको लागि धर्मको लागि हाम्रो समाजको लागि ठूलो महत्त्व पुगेको छ यसले भाइचारा सद्भाव बढाउँदछ.
Originating from the mountainous districts of Bajura, Bajhang, and Acham, the festival gradually spread to the Tarai plains, carried by families who migrated southward. Men donned white robes and turbans, wielding swords and shields as they performed the Bhua dance, energetically reenacting heroic battle scenes with devotion. The rhythmic beat of the Panche Baja, a set of 5 traditional musical instruments, accompany these mesmerizing performances. In every step, every beat, and every cheer, the spirit of courage and tradition is vividly alive. Cultural experts note that the Bhua tradition commemorates the timeless tale of bravery and rightness of the Pandavas over the Kauravas in the epic Mahabharata. Consequently, the festival is primarily observed in areas historically believed to have been visited or marked by the Pandavas. Local residents say such cultural festivities foster unity, collective participation, while both local and provincial governments continue to support initiatives that preserve and promote Nepal's indigenous traditions. Imagine living in your own country, yet feeling like you are on the edge of the world. That's the reality for the 45,000 residents of Dodhara Chandani in far western Nepal, nestled precariously between 2 mighty rivers and bordered by India. These unique settlements, battles, devastating floods, soil erosion, and a chronic lack of basic services like health care, education, and clean drinking water. For the people here, survival is a year-round struggle against both nature and neglect. How does it feel living in a country but outside the boundaries? Ask the people of Dodhara Chandani municipality in far western Nepal, known as the longest iconic suspension bridge in Nepal, the Dodhara Chandani Bridge. The place remains isolated and neglected due to limited state attention. Geographically isolated from the mainland, this area is situated at the far western edge of Nepal, bordering India, prone to flooding, inundation, erosion during monsoon season, and border encroachment. The Mahakali River is the sorrow for the people here.
लगाएको खेतीबाली पनि हैला लगिदिन्छ सबभन्दा ठुलो बन्दा बान्दिए त झन् खुसी नै हुन्थ्यौं.
Basic state-rendered services, including healthcare, education, and clean drinking water, are luxury here. For long, leaders remember the around 40,000 residents of the place during election making promises for the same thing almost every time. A permanent embankment along the Mahakali River has been their demand for long, but the issue is something that the country needs to make diplomatic effort with India to pursue. Strangled on three sides by the Mahakali and Jogbura rivers, the people here struggle to survive every monsoon. Hundreds of families have displaced owing to flooding and river erosion in the most remote and vulnerable settlements: Kutia Cover, Villa number 18 settlement, Sundarnagar, and Patarakhala. Local Mayor Kishore Limbu says the municipality alone cannot bear the financial burden, but both provincial and federal government must prioritize embankment construction. Palpa is taking a decisive stand for safer motherhood. In this hilly district of Nepal, a bold push called the Zero Home Childbirth is changing now how babies are born by ensuring every delivery happens in a health facility, with home births carrying serious risk due to the absence of skilled care and emergency support. Local governments and communities are stepping up together to make institutional delivery the new standard. The impact is already visible. 7 of Palpa's 10 local levels are now fully compliant, while the 3 remaining are racing to get there. In Nepal, continue to pose a serious risk, largely due to the absence of skilled birth attendants and limited access to emergency medical care. Health professionals strongly urge expectant mothers to deliver in health facilities where timely medical support can ensure the safety of both mother and newborn. This remains critical as a majority of maternal deaths in Nepal still occur at home. Against this backdrop, Palpa district in Nepal's hilly region has launched a Zero Home Childbirth campaign aiming to ensure that all deliveries take place under the supervision of trained medical professionals in health facilities. The initiative seeks to completely eliminate home childbirth and achieve full compliance with institutional delivery standards. Encouragingly, 7 out of Palpa's 10 local levels have already achieved 100% institutional childbirth status, while the remaining 3 are actively preparing to meet the required benchmark.
नेपालमै सम्भवतः होम डेलिभरी 0 भएको जिल्ला पाल्पा भएको छ. गत वर्षसम्म चाहिँ 14 टा होम डेलिभरी भएको थियो भने यो वर्ष हामीले 0 बनाउन सफल भएका छौं.
According to the district health office, the campaign has intensified efforts to discourage home birth and promote safe deliveries through health facilities. The program is being implemented in close coordination with health institutions, medical workers, female community health volunteers, and other key stakeholders across the district. These local efforts align with national progress in maternal health. A 2025 United Nations report shows that Nepal's maternal mortality ratio has declined by nearly 70% since 2000, with the current figure standing at 140 deaths per 100,000 live births, a significant achievement of the country. Building on this momentum, Palpa is now in the final stage of being declared the first fully institutional childbirth district in Lumbini province of the country within the current fiscal year. Alongside, the campaign authorities are also working to reduce early marriage and teenage pregnancy, key factors that, if addressed effectively, could accelerate Nepal's journey toward zero maternal mortality. In southern Nepal, part of a major migratory route connecting Central Asia and the Indian subcontinent, Conservationists are stepping up efforts to protect waterbirds amid growing threats from habitat loss and climate pressures. A waterbird census has been launched to track the health of both migratory and native bird populations. The count is focused along the Rapti River and surrounding wetlands. Critical stopover sites for birds traveling thousands of kilometers each year. Conservationists in Nepal have identified several emerging threats to migratory birds across the country's southern region. The migratory birds coming from countries such as Siberia, China, Myanmar, Mongolia, Russia, Korea and Thailand are threatened largely by humans. To better understand this crisis, Dang district in south has initiated its annual scientific census of waterbirds. Dang serves as an important wintering site for both native and migratory birds arriving from various regions, including the Arctic region. Species such as geese, gulls, and other water-dependent birds are commonly recorded during the winter season. The census aims to document the number of birds, species diversity, and habitat status in Nepal's rivers, lake, ponds, and wetland ecosystems, with a specific focus on Dang. Conducted under Bird Conservation Nepal, BC, and the survey is part of the country's nationwide annual waterbird monitoring program.
कुन प्रजातिका चराहरू आउँछन् र कस्ता कस्ता चराको जोखिम के छ त्यो पहिचान गर्नका लागि हामीले यो जाडो सिजनमा आउने चराहरूको चाहिँ तथ्याङ्क सर्वे गर्दैछौँ.
The data collected is expected to inform national conservation planning and wetland management efforts. The 2024 Asian Waterbird Census, AWC in Nepal identified positive signs with more than 53 species recorded. However, migratory birds continue to face threats such as habitat loss, pollution, human disturbance, hunting, and climate change. Nepal is home to over 200 native bird species that depend on wetlands and water bodies, of which around 100 are migratory. And that commitment to conservation is already showing results elsewhere in Nepal. In Chitwan National Park, home to some of South Asia's most fragile ecosystems, the population of the endangered gharial crocodile has increased by 366 individuals, found mainly along the Rapti River and Narayani River. This rise reflects decades of sustained protection, habitat restoration, and careful monitoring. Proof that when ecosystems are protected, nature can and does bounce back. The population of the rare and endangered gharial crocodile is on the rise in Nepal's first national park, Chitwan National Park, particularly in the Rapti and Narayani rivers. According to a monitoring and census conducted on 7th to 9th December 2025 by the Chitwan National Park Office, a total of 366 gharials were evidently seen in these two major rivers. The park's information officer reported that 231 gharials were spotted in the Rapti River and 135 in the Narayani River. This marks an increase of 14 individuals compared to last year's total of 352. The census also revealed a rise in the number of male gharials, with 9 males recorded, in total 7 in the Rapti and 2 in the Narayani, highlighting a positive trend in population. The increase in the gharial population is attributed on ongoing conservation efforts. Since 1978 Bikram Sambat, the park has operated a dedicated gharial breeding center in Kasara, Chitwan. The center collects eggs, raises hatchlings, and releases them into rivers across the country, including the Rapti and Narayani, contributing directly to the species recovery and long-term conservation. Interestingly, during the census, a dolphin was also seen at the confluence of the two rivers, taken as an encouraging indicator of overall diversity. Chitwan National Park, a premier wildlife observation site, is also renowned for its Royal Bengal tigers, one-horned rhinos, and diverse area bird species. The park offers jungle safaris, bird watching, and observation towers, making it a prime destination for nature enthusiasts and conservationists alike, with its rich Tarai ecosystem as a backup. Finally, we turn to agriculture and trade. Nepal, the world's leading producer of large cardamom, is seeing renewed growth as prices rise. In Bhojpur, farmers are expanding operations after farm gate prices reached 25,000 rupees per kilogram. With nearly 68% of global supply, cardamom remains a key export, now offering stronger returns after years of price swings. Nepal is the global leader in the production of large cardamom, also known as black cardamom, contributing more than 50%, almost around 68% of the global sales. The country is a major exporter primarily to India, which re-exports the spice to international markets. Despite the challenges such as price volatility and plant diseases, the sector remains highly profitable and contributes significantly to Nepal's foreign exchange earnings. With the black cardamom continuing to command strong market price, farmers in Bhojpur district of Eastern Nepal have grown increasingly optimistic. Black cardamom cultivation is deeply rooted in the cultural heritage and economy of Eastern Nepal. Consistent price increase in recent years has encouraged more farmers to invest more in cardamom cultivation. Harvested cardamom is now commonly sold directly from farmers' doorstep, helping reduce transportation and marketing cost. Local farmers say rising prices and improved market demand have motivated them to return to cardamom farming and expand their orchards.
योभन्दा विगत अगाडि चाहिँ अब निकै निम्नमा थियो, अब भाउ पनि तल अनि मान्छेको उत्पादन पनि कमी नै थियो। अब यो निरन्तर भाउ लगभग 4 देखि चाहिँ अलिकति भाउ आइराखेको कारणले गर्दाखेरि मान्छेहरू कृषकहरू चाहिँ उत्साहित छन्।
In Bhojpur district, large cardamom is cultivated across approximately 597 hectares of land. Popular local varieties such as Ramsahi, Golsahi, Dumbarsahi, and Jirmali are widely grown in the area. Often referred as the black gold of the hills due to its high value, it has been an integral part of farmers in the region for more than 150 years. In the last few years, the price of cardamom has risen by almost 400%. Nepal primarily exports large cardamom to India, which serves as a major re-export hub to the Middle East, including the UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, Europe such as Germany and Italy, as well as the United States, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Beyond the cities and the headlines, real life continues to unfold. Stories shaped by struggle, strengthened by resilience, and carried forward by hope. This is the Hinterland, and we'll be back next week with more stories from the heart of Nepal. Goodbye for now.
Maybe.
This is The World This Week, your weekly roundup of the latest international events and updates, and I am Bhavana Kesi. In this edition, we bring you stories ranging from ongoing conflicts in Ukraine and Southeast Asia to rising global tensions, natural disasters, groundbreaking space missions, climate challenges, and festive celebrations from around the world. Let's start with Ukraine, where President Volodymyr Zelensky has outlined a revised US-backed 20-point peace plan. As per the plan, Ukrainian forces will pull back from the parts of eastern part of the country to create a demilitarized or free economic zone alongside strong security guarantees from the US, NATO and Europe. Russia is expected to respond after talks with Washington, though Moscow has demanded wider Ukrainian withdrawals and President Vladimir Putin has threatened to seize the entire east by force. Describing the plan as the main framework for ending the war, he said it proposed security guarantees from the US, NATO and Europeans for a coordinated military response if Russia invaded Ukraine again. On the key question of Ukraine's eastern Donbass, Zelensky said a free economic zone was a potential option. The 20-point plan is seen as an update of an original 28-point document agreed by US envoy Steve Witkoff with the Russians several weeks ago, which was widely seen as heavily geared towards the Kremlin's demands. Much of the updated plan resembles what came out of recent talks in Berlin involving US negotiators Witkoff and Jared Kushner with the Ukrainian and European leaders. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin is unlikely to be impressed by the kind of compromise being proposed for Donetsk. He said this month that Russia would take control of the entire east of Ukraine by force if Ukrainian troops did not pull out. However, Trump is pushing for a deal to end almost 4 years of full-scale war, and the Ukrainian president believes Russia cannot afford to reject the US plan. While global attention shifts from the unresolved war in Ukraine, Thailand and Cambodia have begun talks to resume a ceasefire following 16 days of deadly border clashes that killed at least 86 people. The discussions follow a special ASEAN-led meeting in Kuala Lumpur earlier this week aimed at salvaging a truce first brokered in July. In the run-up to Wednesday's talks, Thailand and Cambodia have continued clashing, with both sides fighting at multiple points since early December, stretching from forested regions near Laos to Thailand. The talks come 2 days after a special meeting in Kuala Lumpur, after Southeast Asian foreign ministers convened to try to salvage a truce first brokered by ASEAN chair Malaysia and United States President Donald Trump after a previous round of clashes in July. Thai Defense Ministry's spokesperson said Wednesday's meeting of the General Border Committee lasted 3 days and could pave the way for an agreement. The meeting is the most significant step since fighting re-erupted and follows separate unsuccessful efforts by Malaysia, China and the United States to bring the two countries to the table. Cambodia and Thailand have each other accused the other of aggression and violations of an enhanced ceasefire reached in October in Malaysia in Trump's presence, during which they committed to demining and withdrawing troops and heavy weapons from areas has been contested bitterly for decades. At least 21 civilians have been killed in Cambodia since the fighting and more than 500,000 people displaced. In Thailand, at least 65 people have lost their lives, with over 150,000 evacuated from their homes. Bangladesh is facing widespread unrest as protests erupted across the country following the death of a prominent political activist. Let's take a closer look at the situation in Bangladesh and what's driving these protests. Violence erupted across Bangladesh following the death of youth activist Sharif Osman Hadi, who was shot in Dhaka earlier this month. Demonstrations have turned deadly, with clashes between protesters and police, attacks on media offices and protests, leaving at least 86 people dead. Authorities have increased security, but violence continues to disrupt daily life in several major cities. It is said the unrest exposes deep political fractures ahead of Bangladesh's national elections in February 2026, highlighting public distrust of the interim government. The targeting of media outlets has raised concerns about press freedom, while the government's response is being closely watched by both domestic and international observers. International voices, including the UN Human Rights Chief, have urged restraint, emphasizing the need for thorough investigations and accountability. Meanwhile, civil society groups and cultural organizations have staged rallies calling for peaceful resolution and protection of democratic rights, underscoring that the protests are as much as about governance and civic freedoms as about the immediate catalyst. Our next story takes us to California, where the U.S. state is battling winter storms and is seeing floods, landslides, and heavy snow, forcing evacuations and shutting down roads. Forecasters have warned that it can be the wettest Christmas in years. The storm prompted California's Governor Gavin Newsom to declare a state of emergency for 6 counties, including Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, enabling the deployment of National Guard and emergency resources. Officials report widespread evacuations, road closures, and hazardous travel conditions, particularly in areas still recovering from last January's wildfires, where saturated swells increase the risk of mudslides and debris flows. The California Highway Patrol confirmed at least 1 death in the Sacramento County from an apparent weather-related crash, as rain-slicked roads contributed to dangerous driving conditions. Utilities report power outages affecting tens of thousands of residents, and emergency shelters have been opened for those displaced by flooding or landslides. Meteorologists say such storms are expected to become more frequent, highlighting the need for resilient infrastructure and emergency preparedness in the state. From the land to space now, India's space agency has successfully launched the LVM-3M6 rocket carrying the US-built AST space mobile satellite into low Earth orbit. The mission marks the heaviest payload ever launched from Indian soil and represents a significant step in global satellite communications. The satellite is designed to provide global mobile connectivity from space, enabling communication even in remote areas. Officials say the successful launch highlights India's technological advancements and its expanding role in heavy lift and commercial space missions. India's National Space Agency, ISRO's chairperson, as Somnath says, this is the heaviest payload ever launched from Indian soil, adding this launch demonstrates India's growing capability in heavy lift missions.
This is the heaviest satellite ever lifted from Indian soil using an Indian launcher. This is also the third fully commercial mission of LVM-3, and the vehicle has demonstrated its excellent track record.
The launch comes amid a surge in global demand for satellite-based connectivity, emphasizing the strategic and commercial importance of India's space program. It is said that such launches enhance India's credibility in international space collaborations, opening doors for commercial partnerships with countries and private companies. From space exploration to climate challenges here on the Earth, as rising sea level has put Guinea-Bissau's Bezagos Islands and their ecosystems at risk. Scientists have already warned that the rising sea levels are gradually submerging low-lying areas, threatening homes, livelihoods, and the unique biodiversity of the islands. Locals in Guinea-Bissau are raising the alarm as the Bezagos Islands, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, faces severe coastal erosion. Residents report that rising sea levels and worsening erosion are threatening homes, infrastructure, and traditional livelihoods such as fishing and small-scale farming. Environmental experts warn that the climate change and unregulated coastal development are accelerating the island's vulnerability. The islands, known for its rich biodiversity and cultural heritage, could face damages if protective measures are not implemented on time. Authorities and conservation groups are under growing pressure to take urgent action to protect both the local population and the island's ecological significance. Communities are already adapting to the changes, but experts say without long-term planning and international support, the island's unique ecosystems and way of life are at serious risk. The situation highlights the broader impacts of climate change on low-lying island nations and the urgent need for global cooperation to mitigate rising sea levels. This is a story of courage and determination. A German woman engineer who uses a wheelchair has soared into space, marking a historic milestone for inclusion and celebrating human resilience. A German female engineer has become the first wheelchair user to blast into space, taking a brief ride on a Blue Origin flight. The space company owned by American multi-billionaire Jeff Bezos launched its new Safford suborbital mission at 8:15 a.m. from its site in Texas. Michaela Benthaus, an aerospace engineer at European Space Agency, was among the passengers to cross the Kármán line, the internationally recognized boundary of space, during the approximately 10-minute flight. Benthaus had suffered a spinal cord injury after a mountain biking accident and now uses a wheelchair. The small, fully automated rocket took off vertically, and the capsule carrying the tourists then detached in flight before gently descending back to the Texas desert, slowed by parachutes.
It was the 16th crewed flight for Blue Origin, which has for years offered space tourism flights using its new Seyfert rocket. During Christmas celebrations, festivities spanned across Bethlehem to Rome to cities around the world, with millions gathered to mark the festive season with faith, joy, and tradition. For Pope Leo XVI, it is his first Christmas as the pontiff, making the occasion even more historic. In Bethlehem, the site believed to be the birthplace of Jesus Christ, thousands of pilgrims attended a midnight mass at the church. Streets were filled with processions, prayers, and festive decorations reflecting the city's deep spiritual significance. Across Italy and towns worldwide, communities marked the holiday with festive fairs, concerts, and charitable activities, blending religious observance with cultural traditions. In Rome, streets and plazas glowed with lights and bustling Christmas markets, while families enjoyed traditional meals, music, and seasonal performances. Before celebrating his first Christmas Eve Mass, Pope Leo XVI addressed the crowd, braving the wet weather. Pope's first Christmas Eve Mass highlighted both the faithful devotion of attendees and the Vatican's enduring role at the heart of global Christmas celebrations.
I admire and respect and thank you for your courage and your wanting to be here this evening.
Thousands of worshippers had gathered to join the pontiff for his festive and solemn occasion, which marks one of the most important events in the Catholic calendar. The Mass included traditional prayers, hymns, and blessings, emphasizing peace, hope, and goodwill for the holiday season, drawing attention from pilgrims and viewers around the world. Well, what a stunning portrayal of fun-filled fun event in China. And this brings us to the end of this episode of The World This Week. More than 2,000 people, including locals and tourists, participated in the opening ceremony. The event included ice hockey matches and special sports such as dragon boat races on ice and ball-carrying running races, where both the winter sports enthusiasts and audiences shared the joy of competing on ice and snow. A major indoor ski resort in Rongxian County of South China is offering a wide range of activities for people of different ages, including areas for kids to enjoy toy train rides and ice slides. Winter sports with local characteristics are creating fun for residents and tourists in China. While launching a series of activities integrating ice and snow sports with cultural tourism, Jixi City, Northeast China also opened its third winter games for residents. And this brings us to the end of this episode of The World This Week. We hope you enjoyed as much as we did bringing it to you. We shall see you again next time with a new episode. Do follow us on our website www.nepaltelevision.com and our social media handles as well as our YouTube channel. Till then, take care and bye-bye.
Human beings have made drastic progress in the sector of handicrafts with the development of civilization from the Stone Age until the 21st century. These include and are not limited to works of art, sculptures, wood and metal crafts. These handicrafts have also found religious, historic, cultural and archaeological acceptance and significance. Religious texts have identified the attraction of human settlements in the mountainous region of Nepal, which has always remained an independent sovereign nation. Ramapithecus human remains found in Butwal of West Nepal clarifies that human settlement had begun in Nepal more than 10 million years ago. We find historic references of works of handicrafts made by those living in this region. Such Nepali handicrafts are artistic and useful, therefore also successful in gaining international appreciation. Instead of the modern handicrafts, Nepal is well introduced in the international community by its traditional and historic works of art and craft. Millions of tourists who visit Nepal every year observe, study and relish the traditional handicrafts available at religious shrines. The high-quality woods brought from local forests are seasoned before being carved. Nepali woodcrafts are not only popular inside the country, but also have a demand abroad and therefore are exported. In addition to sculptures of gods and goddesses, artistic doors and windows, among other furniture, are made from wood in Nepal. Best examples of Nepali woodcraft can be taken as the artistic carvings at palaces, temples and other religious shrines in Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur. The 6th century woodcraft present at Rudravarna Mahavihar in Okubahal of Lalitpur is considered the oldest. Nepali woodcraft continues to thrive with the creativity, dedication and effort of trained artists. Artist Punyaraj Tuladhar, popular around the world, shares his experience. Lalitpur is popular around the world for its metal craft in Nepal. Works of metal craft produced here had a great demand in countries including Bhutan, Japan, China and European nations. Metal statues are developed using two methods in Nepal: repose art and lost wax process, both widely popular around the world. Repose art is a metalworking technique in which a malleable metal, silver, copper and brass among others, is shaped by hammering from the reverse side to create a design in low relief. Small sheets of metal are cut based on required measurement to form different organs of statues before being welded together. Designs and patterns are then carved into the structure. Gold is plated in some works such as metalcraft as well. Such metal sheets are also used in the roof of temples and other religious shrines. Lost wax process is the technique by which a metal sculpture, often silver, gold, brass or bronze, is cast from an original sculpture of wax made of honeycomb. Molten metal is poured into a mold that has been created by means of a wax model. Once the mold is made, the wax model is melted and drained away. In the second phase, the metal sculpture is cleaned with different machines or equipment. After filling of the sculpture, it is then plated with gold or painted with colors based on the requirements. Most of such sculptures are found in Buddhist and Hindu religious shrines. Globally recognized senior artist Krodh Kala Shiromani Kalu Kumale shares his experience. Existing sculptures present in Nepal and at museums abroad prove that the works of sculptures have a long history in the country. Sculptures made using the lost wax process have a huge demand in China and other countries and continue to be exported. Okubahal, Nagbahal, Haugal and Tangal, among other places, are the pioneers in metal craft. Likewise, metal crafts of Tansen in Palpa, Chainpur and Bhojpur are also popular around the world. Silver filigree art of Nepal is internationally recognized. The genre, which began during the Lichavi era and grew in the Malla era, is considered quality work of art of Nepal. Attractive shapes are made from metals including silver, and precious stones are then used to create artistic objects. It is believed that works of filigree art were the first ones to be purchased by tourists. Artists speak of a huge demand of quality Nepali filigree art in the international market. Senior artist Dilliraj Shakya shares his experience. Stone art is taken as a significant category of handicrafts. Equipment including hammers is used in development of beautiful sculptures. This form of art had begun with the development of different kinds of weapons. They are strong and durable and therefore remain intact. Most of the sculptures of gods and goddesses are made from stones. Likewise, sculptures of animals, stone taps, temples, religious symbols and goods used in daily lives are also made from stone. Most of such sculptures are made from the stones found in local hills, including Hattiban, Machegao, Tika Bhairav, Godavari and Kharpa, among others. Senior artist Dharmaraj Shakya says that Nepal's stone art has a unique identity. Of the stone sculptures found so far, a sculpture of King Jaya Varma found in Harigao and currently conserved at National Museum in Chhaoni is considered to be the oldest historic sculpture. Likewise, sculptures in Changu installed by King Mandev, another found in Tilganga near Pashupati, a sculpture of Vishnu Vikrant in Lazimpat, and the one at Budhanilkantha are also considered historic. Sculpture of Virupaksha Kirateshwar Mahadev at Pashupati Aryaghat, Vishwaroop at Changu, Garud Sayan Vishnu sculpture, Palanchuk Bhagwati, Gazalakshmi of Lalitpur, Chashal Hiti and Krishna Mandir of Patan, among others, are considered the best stone sculptures of Nepal. Terracotta sculptures and masks, among other artworks, are made from clay. Terracotta works are thought to have been in existence in Nepal from a long time. According to historians and archaeologists, terracotta works found during a recent excavation administered by the Department of Archaeology were from the 2nd century BC. In recent practices, terracotta works are made before the development of metal sculptures. Different goods used in daily life are made from terracotta works. In addition to the sculptures of religious figures, products such as cups and plates, among other utensils, are also made from terracotta technique, while they are sold in domestic and foreign markets as well. Artists who have been working with terracotta for ages live in Thimi of Bhaktapur, Dang and Kapilvastu. Popular artist Gopal Kalapremi says the creativity and dedication of Nepali artists has been uplifting terracotta works in and outside of Nepal. Pauba art is made in the Kathmandu Valley and is considered as a traditional art form. This form of art is known as Thanga in Tibet. In Tibetan language, documentation and archives of gods and goddesses is called Thanku or Thanga. In this form of art, color from natural minerals is used to paint the pictures of religious figures on cloth. The large figure of main god and goddesses is placed at the center, while remaining gods and goddesses are placed in relatively smaller figures at the other parts. The background of this form of art includes different kinds of flowers, clouds, trees, and birds and animals. An artwork of Ratnasambhav Buddha conserved at the County Museum in Los Angeles of the United States of America is considered to be the oldest Paubha art which was developed in the 13th century. The Amitabha Buddha art of the 13th century, also at the County Museum alongside Vishnu Mandala of 1420 and the 19th century's Sahas Bhujalokeshwar saved at the National Museum in Chhaoni, are considered to be Nepal's best Paubha artworks. The demand of Paubha artworks is increasing in Nepal and the foreign market. Popular and senior artist Lok Chitrakar says continuous efforts of talented artists has helped increase the popularity of Nepali Paubha art. Nepali handicrafts have established a significant position in the international community for their traditional, religious, social, historic and archaeological richness. Nepal Academy of Fine Arts has been conducting significant tasks in regards to conservation, promotion and development of Nepali handicrafts. Active involvement of experienced, skilled and talented artists, along with their devotion and sacrifices, have been rejuvenating Nepali handicrafts and helping establish a unique and superior identity of Nepal in the international community.
Because maybe
Hello, Saudi Kharka, hello. Wow.
एकदमै राम्रो रहेछ रिफ्रेस्ड फिल भयो त्यो के होसबाट अलि टाढा आएको जस्तो
यहाँसम्मको एउटा केबल कार भइदिए एकदम बेटर हुन्थ्यो जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई
माहौल अथवा यहाँको वातावरण यति रमणीय छ कि यसलाई शब्दमा वर्णन गरेर पनि साध्य छैन
The gently flowing Sani Bheri is suddenly veiled by drifting clouds, and with the chill rising from its swift current, the desire to soar is fulfilled as we enter eastern Rukum. Stone and clay houses stacked upon one another, the white Himalayan peaks, vibrant flower gardens of Bukit Batan, melodious rivers and lakes, and unique authentic arts and culture. All of these make Eastern Rukum a place that captivates every visitor. Our aim is to bring this distant, remote land closer to all. This time our destination is Chauri Khadga, located at an altitude of about 4,000 meters above sea level. Our trek begins at Pati Halune. On the border of eastern Rukum and Baglung along the Mid-Hill Highway. Though it is said that the hike to Chauri Khadga takes around 3 hours, we wonder how long it will take us.
रमाइलो छ डाँडा छ हात हाततिर त त्यही ल घामले गर्दा मैले एउटा सेकेन्ड रमाइलो लाग्यो भन्ने गर्दा भन्ने यस्तो रमाइलो ठाउँ रहेछ हेर्नु
I'm very happy. हिजो हामीले यस्तो मजाको सिन हेर्न पाइएन अहिले चाहिँ त्यही अब आज हजुर
बिहान 5 बजेर हिजो बेलुका त पुरै कुहिरो थियो यहाँ त केही देखेन
Chorikarka sits high in the hills of Bhumi Rural Municipality 1 in eastern Rukum. It is truly a rare gift of nature beyond words to fully describe. In winter, these hills lie under a blanket of snow, but now they open up in vibrant color. Green pastures, wide grazing lands, blossoming flowers, and herds of yaks, sheep, and horses make Chorikarka a destination of extraordinary delight. When the sun breaks through the northern peaks, Puta, Dhaulagiri, Churi, and Sisli, they reveal themselves in full grandeur. Rivers flowing through the valleys, including the northern Ganga and Niseldhor, together with the backdrop of Dhor Patan, enchant every traveler. The meadows of Chorikarka bloom with colorful flowers. Among them, cows, sheep, and horses graze peacefully, creating a scene that feels almost dreamlike. Travelers walk along narrow trails, disappearing and reappearing through the mist, immersed in the enchantment of the landscape.
हाम्रो वरिपरिको यो डाँडाहरू भ्यू भनेको हुसु भने वाइल्ड फ्लावर्सले सबैले एकदम रिफ्रेश त्यही नै भन्ने होला आउनु पनि वर्थ इटै छ
The weary faces of trekkers brighten as they take in these views, and you can clearly see joy and wonder reflected in fatigue melts away into the beauty of nature. Eastern Rukum is blessed with a wealth of natural treasures, mountains, rivers, lakes, caves, and valuable herbs. In recent years, Chaudhry Kharka has become an increasingly popular destination for domestic travelers, drawing visitors eager to witness its natural magnificence.
Because maybe.
Major political parties pledge participation in the March parliamentary polls, commitment made during Prime Minister Summon's meeting. Nepal's Election Commission calls for submitting closed list of PR candidates for March 5 elections, and nearly 19 million registered in final voter list. Otaku Jatra 2025 draws hundreds of young anime and cosplay fans in Nepal's capital, Kathmandu. Poland scrambles fighter on its border with Ukraine as Russia strikes Kiev. Zelensky set to meet Trump in Florida on Sunday. Thailand and Cambodia agree ceasefire after weeks of deadly clashes. Both agree to freeze front lines and allow civilians living in border areas to return home. And 13th NSSF Kinder Olympics kicks off from today in Kathmandu. Over 1,500 students participating in the first phase. Good evening, I'm Smitugi Singh Tamang and this is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in detail. Leaders of Nepal's three major political parties have agreed to participate in the upcoming House of Representatives election scheduled for March 5, assuring the government of their commitment to the electoral process. The agreement was reached during a meeting at the Prime Minister's residence in Balbatar, convened at the call of Prime Minister Sushila Karki. According to the Prime Minister's Secretariat, top leaders of Nepali Congress, the Communist Party of Nepal UML and the Nepal Communist Party expressed readiness for the polls. Following the meeting, Nepali Congress President and former Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba said all major political forces are prepared to participate in the election while stressing that the government must ensure a secure environment. The Secretariat said CPN UML Chair KP Sharma Oli and Nepal Communist Party leader Pushpa Kamal Dahal also reaffirmed their commitment to take part in the election. During the discussion, Prime Minister Karki urged the parties to view the election as crucial to the nation's future and the strengthening of stable and sustainable democracy, emphasizing that making the election successful is a shared responsibility. Election Commission of Nepal has published the final voter list for the House of Representatives elections scheduled for March 5, marking a key procedural step ahead of the nationwide polls. The Commission said a total of 18.9 million voters are now registered to vote, an increase of more than 915,000 voters compared to the previous parliamentary and provincial elections. According to Election Commission spokesperson Narayan Prasad Bhattrai, the final voter roll includes 9.66 million men, 9.24 million women and 200 voters registered under other gender categories. The updated list has been made publicly available on the Commission's official website. Otaku Jatra 2025 held today at Kathmandu's Plaza Hotel attracted hundreds of young anime and cosplay fans from across the country. It featured art exhibits, gaming zones, merchandise, and a cosplay contest with characters from popular series like Naruto and Demon Slayer. The event highlighted the growing popularity and commercial appeal of anime culture in Nepal, reflecting global trends and Kathmandu's expanding youth cultural scene. We bring more on this in our cover story. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is on his way to the U.S. to hold peace talks with U.S. President Donald Trump in Florida. Sunday's meeting is expected to focus on a U.S.-brokered 20-point peace plan, as well as separate proposals for security guarantees. Before that, Zelensky will make a stopover in Canada to meet Prime Minister Mark Carney and will also hold a call with some key allies. Ahead of Zelensky's visit, the Ukrainian capital Kyiv was hit by a fresh wave of Russian missiles and drones, killing at least 2 people and injuring dozens others. Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to an immediate ceasefire, the defense ministers of both countries have said in a joint statement. The two sides have agreed to freeze the front lines where they are now and allow civilians living in border areas to return home, halting almost 3 weeks of intense clashes in which dozens of people have been killed and nearly 1 million displaced. The ceasefire took effect at noon local time on Saturday. Once it has been in place for 72 hours, 18 Cambodian soldiers held by Thailand since July will be released. The breakthrough came after days of talks between the two countries with diplomatic encouragement from China and the U.S. The agreement prioritizes getting the displaced back to their homes and also includes an agreement to remove landmines. The 30th NSSF Kinder Olympics has kicked off from today in Kathmandu. Nepal's Speaker of House of Representatives Devraj Ghimire handed over the Kinder Olympic torch to Olympian Kamal Bahadur Adhikari at an event held at Dashrut Stadium in Tripureshwar. Speaker Ghimire, along with Adhikari, other Olympians Santoshi Shrestha, Aisha Shakya and Manmati Bista carried the torch around the track of Dashrut Stadium. 1,540 students from 34 schools in the Kathmandu Valley are taking part in the first phase of the Kinder Olympics. The second phase, scheduled to take place at Dashrut Stadium on 30th of December, is expected to include around 1,600 students from 67 schools. Organizers say that the Kinder Olympics aim to cultivate an interest in sports among children from an early age. Nepal's Election Commission has finalized the voter list for the upcoming House of Representatives elections, while also pushing political parties to submit their closed list for proportional representation on time. Alongside this, the Commission has outlined who qualifies as temporary voters and confirmed nationwide polling preparations. More on this in our issue of the day. Welcome back. You're with the NTV World News Hour. Nepal's Election Commission has published the final voter list for upcoming House of Representatives elections. The voter roll was finalized in accordance with Nepal's Voter Registration Act and related procedures, which allow citizens who will turn 18 years of age by March 4 to be included in the final register. The Election Commission also confirmed logistical preparations for the polls, stating that voting will take place across 10,967 polling locations with a total of 23,112 polling stations nationwide. Nepal is preparing for the parliamentary elections amid an interim political arrangement, with the vote seen as constitutionally mandated to restore political continuity and institutional legitimacy. Nepal's Election Commission has urged
closer to its House of Representatives elections scheduled for March 5, 2026, with the Election Commission completing a key milestone. The Commission has published the final voter list, confirming that 18.9 million voters are now registered nationwide. This marks an increase of more than 915,000 voters compared to previous parliamentary and provincial elections. According to Commission spokesperson, the voter roll includes 9.66 million men, 9.24 million women, and 200 voters registered under other gender categories. The updated voter list was finalized in line with Nepal's Voter Registration Act. Citizens who turn 18 years old by March 4 have been included. Preparations for election day are underway, with voting set to take place at 10,967 polling locations and 23,112 polling stations across the country. These elections are constitutionally mandated and are seen as crucial for restoring political continuity and institutional legitimacy during Nepal's entering political phase.
Nepal's Election Commission has urged political parties to submit their closed list of candidates for the proportional representation system for the House of Representatives election scheduled for March 5 next year. The Commission has said that the list must be submitted to the Office of the Election Officer on Sunday and Monday. Based on the Election Act, rules and the House of Representatives Proportional Representation Election Directive, the Commission has also requested parties to submit their closed lists. The Commission further said that the lists may be made public for general awareness before being officially submitted to the Commission. The Election Commission has also determined the categories of individuals to be included in the temporary voter roll for the upcoming March 5 elections. Employees of the Nepal government, provincial and local governments, as well as institutions owned or controlled by the federal or provincial governments who are listed in the final voter roll will be included as temporary voters. The Commission informed that members of the Nepal Army, Nepal Police and Armed Police stationed in barracks, prisoners in jails, and staff and security personnel deployed for election-related duties will also be temporary voters. Individuals residing in old age homes operated by the Nepal government, provincial or local governments or operated with their approval, as well as chiefs and officials of constitutional bodies will also be temporary voters. There is an arrangement where an election commissioner will be designated to review the temporary voter register in coordination with its dedicated committee. As per the existing provisions for compiling temporary voter list, details employees will be requested from the concerned agencies and subsequently sent them to the respective election office along with electronic copy. Kathmandu's youth culture took center stage as Otaku Jatra 2025 transformed the heart of the capital into a vibrant celebration of anime, cosplay and fandom. From creative expression to a growing pop culture economy, the event reflects how global trends are reshaping local youth spaces. We delve deeper on this in our cover story tonight. Welcome back. Hundreds of young anime and cosplay enthusiasts gathered at the Plaza Hotel in the heart of Kathmandu for Otaku Jatra 2025, marking one of the city's largest youth-focused pop culture events this year. The event featured art exhibitions, gaming zones, anime merchandise displays, and a cosplay competition, drawing a steady stream of teenagers and young adults throughout the day. Participants appeared as characters from globally popular anime series such as Naruto, One Piece, Attack on Titan, and Demon Slayer. Organizers said the significant footfall and the presence of established brands and sponsors reflected the growing popularity and commercial viability of anime and cosplay culture in Nepal. Globally driven by streaming platforms and international fan conventions, the subculture has seen a rapid growth among urban youth. Otaku Jatra 2025 highlighted Kathmandu's expanding youth cultural scene, unfolding alongside the capital's daily rhythm in its central business district. From cosplay and gaming battles to music and fan art, Otaku Jatra 2025 turned Kathmandu into a hub of fandom today, highlighting how Nepal's youth are carving out safe, unapologetic spaces for creativity and self-expression. Dec.2025 brings us more from the ground.
As Nepal moves at its own pace in a parallel world, aloof youngsters celebrate a culture of fandom through an action-packed multiverse of cosplay, gaming, PUBG mobile battles, musical performances, fan art and food fest. They have created a safe and unapologetic space to become who they love through costumes and characters. Today, that world steps out of the shadows and comes alive in Kathmandu with Otaku Jatra 2025 into the Jatra-verse, Nepal's one of the biggest pop culture celebrations. Otaku Jatra is an annual event specially meant for die-hard fans of anime, DC Marvel or pop culture-related gaming, skating, YouTubers and aspirants. The event brings together thousands of fans, creators and communities for a full day of adventure and creativity. Originally, the term otaku comes from Japan, referring to people deeply passionate about anime, manga and games. What began as a subculture in Japan has now become a global youth movement, and Nepal is no exception. For many attendees, Otaku Jatra is not just entertainment.
Since in Nepal, the culture is kind of conservative, right? So like if people dress a certain way, people will stare at you. But like this is a place where people from different fandoms and things that are kind of looked down upon can actually express themselves properly without feeling like, oh, how I wonder what they think about me, because everyone here just feels like family.
Participants dress as their favorite characters, perform, compete, and connect with people who share similar interests. The event also features cosplay competitions, fan art displays, gaming zones, merchandise stalls, and live performances, giving young creators a stage to showcase their talent. This reflects Nepal's changing youth culture driven by digital access, global media, and a desire for creative freedom.
Otaku Jatra is filled with passion, creativity, character and culture. It shows fandom culture in Nepal is not just alive, it's thriving. Dec.2025 with
As Otaku Jatra 2025 draws an enthusiastic turnout, we asked participants what the event meant to them in our public pulse tonight. Let's take a look.
Otaku Jatra, I come here like almost every year. And I get to express myself, I get to cosplay the characters I love. I get to be an extrovert for a day. It's really nice. It's where I can meet with people who have the same interest as me.
My cosplay is Jasmine, and I believe Otaku Jatra is kind of like a jatra or like a convention, anime convention, where you get to express yourself not only through the animes you like, but also through things like what other popular shows you like, so it's like a pop culture.
I'm cosplaying as Yosano from Bungo Stray Dogs. This is another character called Rampo. So Otaku Jatra for me is like, this is a place where people from different fandoms and things that are kind of looked down upon can actually express themselves properly.
Otaku Jatra is a place where people can reunite despite how different what they might be cosplaying as or their interests are. Everything, all fandoms, all characters from games, anime shows, everyone is welcome. And they don't have to feel weird or odd about what they're dressing as because they'll be welcomed in this environment. And I feel like youth nowadays, it's a way for them to express themselves to the shows they watch, everything. It just feels like home to the people who can't find another place to be themselves.
Like I made a lot of friends from Otaku Jatra and I'm still in touch with them. Like I've met them in various fields and many areas and like they are like bros to me. A few years back I was like much into cosplay.
So I'm just cosplaying the ordinary maid, but I have many cosplay to do. I have the Luffy, I will do in after 2 hours.
Now the remaining updates. A high-level meeting was held today at the Prime Minister's residence in Balwatar, bringing together leaders of Nepal's three major political parties. Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba, CPN-UML Chairman KP Sharma Oli and NCP Coordinator Pushpakamal Dahal confirmed their party's commitment to participate in the March 5 House of Representatives elections. According to government spokesperson and Minister for Communications and Information Technology Jagadish Karel, doubts over political participation in the elections have now been cleared. Nepal's Home Minister Om Prakash Aryal has said that the government has made efforts to instill trust and hope among the citizens. Publicizing achievements of his 100-day in office, Minister Aryal said that the government is focused on relief distribution, maintaining law and order, good governance and preparing for the March 5 elections. Minister Aryal clarified that the government is moving ahead with preparations for the HOR elections, taking into account the sentiments expressed in the September 8-9 Genset movement while taking care of the families of the martyrs and the injured. Nepal's Finance Minister Rameshwar Prasad Khanal stated that only if the government earns the trust of citizens can service delivery become effective and good governance, as demanded by the Gen Z movement, be successful. Addressing the 26th Annual General Meeting and the 21st National Conference of the Public Administration Association, the Finance Minister said foundation of good governance is the rule of law and the tradition of work being carried out solely at the discretion of ministers or senior officials must come to an end.
मन्त्रीजीले भनेपछि जे पनि हुने व्यवस्था कानुनले भनेपछि जे पनि हुने हो त्यो व्यवस्था हामी अझै पनि कानुन परिपालना गर्ने कुरामा कोही पनि कटिबद्ध छ यो परिवर्तन पछि पनि म कहाँ हुने कतिपय आग्रहहरू राष्ट्र सूचना विभागले फलानालाई समात्दै छोडिदिनु पर्यो there is no minister on earth जसले राष्ट्र सूचना जस्तो निकायले समातिसकेपछि छानबिन गरिसकेपछि मन्त्रीले फोन गरेर छोडिदिन्छ.
Nepal has been ranked to the top country in the World Health Organization's WHO Southeast Asia region surveillance of suspected polio cases for the year 2025. The surveillance focused on children under the age of 15 was conducted in 10 countries jointly by the WHO and the National Public Health Laboratory. WHO standards require the identification of at least 2 suspected cases per 100,000 population. Nepal significantly surpassed this benchmark during the surveillance period. Health authorities state that stronger surveillance increases the likelihood of preventing polio transmission. In terms of polio surveillance performance, Nepal ranks ahead of India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, South Korea, Maldives, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand and Timor list that fall under the Southeast Asia Regional Office SEARO of the World Health Organization WHO. Samples from suspected cases were tested in Thailand and no positive polio cases were confirmed. Nepal detected 7.1 suspected polio cases per 100,000 population in 2025. A total of 579 suspected cases were identified nationwide, while laboratory testing of 40 cases is still pending. In 2024, Nepal had detected 4.5 suspected cases per 100,000 people. Under Nepal's routine immunization program, infants are given oral polio drops at 6, 10 and 14 weeks of age, along with injectable polio vaccines at 14 weeks and 9 months. In Western Nepal, the traditional art, culture and cuisine of the Tharu community are increasingly becoming a source of livelihood. From large hotels to homestays, local fairs, festivals and tourism events, Tharu dishes, crafts and cultural performances are emerging as major attractions. Visitors are drawn to traditional foods such as dikri, gongi, fish preparations, sidra, pickles and local vegetables, while pottery, bamboo crafts and Tharu artwork are seeing growing demand. Tharu entrepreneurs say that these traditional skills, once limited to households, are now generating cash income, empowering women, creating local employment opportunities and helping preserve cultural skills. Local hotels and event organizers also highlight how cultural stalls and performances promote domestic tourism and bring visitors closer to Tharu traditions. Experts note that with proper training, marketing support and infrastructure, Tharu art, culture and cuisine could become a sustainable business model, preserving heritage while boosting economic growth. Authorities in Nepal's Manang district are preparing a detailed survey of the newly discovered Kajinsara Lake in Singarkharka of Chame Rural Municipality. The local government plans a second phase of technical and scientific assessments during favorable weather conditions. The study will include satellite measurements, hydrology tests, environmental risk evaluations, and joint participation from relevant agencies. Preliminary estimates place Kajinsara Lake at around 5,200 meters above sea level. However, formal scientific verification of its altitude, area and depth is still pending. Officials say the survey aims to confirm the lake's characteristics and assess its environmental significance in the region. In the aftermath of the 2015 earthquake in central Nepal, government-built residential structures in Daving were intended to provide safe and secure homes for the victims. However, earthquake survivors continue to live in precarious and unsafe areas. Millions of rupees allocated by the government have gone to waste, failing to bring the relief and security that was promised. Regina Rai with our local correspondent Shiva Silwal explains more.
10 years have passed since the devastating 2015 earthquake shook Nepal, claiming thousands of lives and leaving widespread destruction in its wake. The hardest hit district included Kathmandu, Bhaktapur, Dolakha, Gorkha, Raswa, Sinduli, Nuwakot and others. Dhading in central Nepal was also among severely affected. Landslides and collapsed structures after 7.8 magnitude earthquake forced many residents to take shelters under the open sky, away from their homes, displaced and vulnerable in the area. In response, the government and NGOs launched housing projects aimed at providing safe, earthquake-resilient homes for the victims. 10 years on, many of these promises remain unfulfilled. Numerous homes lie unfinished or abandoned, 25 in Nilakanta municipality, over 50 in Jwalamukhi rural municipality, and several more in Ruvi Valley rural municipality. Roofs leak, wall crack, and building material rot, while families continue to endure precarious living conditions. Those who were meant to move into these homes years ago are still living in temporary shelters or with relatives, braving harsh weather and unsafe environments. Local residents now demand government accountability, urging authorities to complete the houses and honor the commitments made a decade ago. For earthquake victims, the stalled projects are not only a waste of financial resources, but also a broken promises of stability and security for them. The abandoned homes of Dhading stand as a stark reminder of the broader challenges in post-disaster reconstruction, a testament to dashed hopes and the urgent need for an action by the government and other concerned bodies.
As we mentioned earlier, a high-level meeting was held today at the Prime Minister's residence in Balwata, bringing together leaders of Nepal's three major political parties. Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deva, CPN UML Chairman KP Sharma Oli, and NCP Coordinator Pushpa Kamal Dahal confirmed the party's commitment to participate in the House of Representatives elections that is scheduled to be held on March 5, 2026.
सबै पार्टीहरु चुनावमा जान तयार छन् कांग्रेस लगायत सबै पार्टी तयार छन् तर यसलाई वातावरण बनिसकेको छैन वातावरण बनाउनु पर्यो सुरक्षाको व्यवस्था हुनु पर्यो
According to government spokesperson and Minister for Communication Jagdish Kharel, doubts over political participation in the elections have now been cleared.
नेकपा एमाले चुनावमा जान तयार छ तर चुनावमा जानको लागि सरकारले वातावरण बनाओस् भनेर भन्नुभयो र त्यो कुराहरुमा चाहिँ उहाँलाई जोड गर्नको लागि नेपाली कांग्रेसका सभापति शेरबहादुर देउवाले पनि अब पुनर्स्थापना होइन संसद पुनर्स्थापना होइन चुनावमै जानुपर्छ भनेर उहाँले स्पष्ट भन्नुभएको छ। त्यस्तै गरेर नेपाली कम्युनिस्ट पार्टीका संयोजक पुष्पकमल दाहाल प्रचण्डले नि चुनावमै जानुपर्छ भन्नुभयो। त्यो जवाफमा सम्माननीय प्रधानमन्त्री सुशीला कार्कीज्यूले चुनावमा जाने वातावरण सुरक्षाको प्रत्याभूति सबै खालका वातावरण सरकारले बनाउँछ भनेर स्पष्ट रूपमा भन्नुभएको छ। यसले के देखाउँछ भने अब जुन रूपमा दुविधा रहेको थियो चुनावमा जाने कुरामा चुनाव हुन्छ कि हुँदैन भन्ने कुराहरूको पनि अब स्पष्ट जवाफ आयो। चुनाव हुन्छ। चुनावमा राजनीतिक दलहरूले भाग लिन्छन् कि लिँदैनन् भन्ने कुराहरूमा पनि जवाफ आयो। अब सबै राजनीतिक दलहरू चुनावको लागि तयार छन्।
A Nepali writer has received an international honor for his work in advancing an indigenous South Asian language. Shivu Murmu from Japa, Eastern Nepal, has been awarded the International Juwan Youth Award at the Juwan Onolia annual conference held in Baripada, Odisha, India. Murmu is recognized for his poetry, essays and cultural writings in Old Chiki, the official script of the Santali language, which is spoken across Nepal, India and Bangladesh. Murmu is credited with producing the first translation of Santali Old Chiki into Nepali and also contributes to Santali language development on platforms such as Wikipedia and Google Translate. The two-day conference brought together young writers and researchers to promote indigenous languages and literature in the region. Murmu is one of 7 honorees celebrated this year for strengthening tribal linguistic and cultural heritage. International updates next. Before that, let's take a quick look at our top stories this hour. Major political parties pledged participation in the March parliamentary polls, commitment made during PM Sammat meeting. Nepal's Election Commission calls for submitting closed list of PR candidates for March 5 elections, also defines categories for temporary voters roll. Kathmandu's Otaku Jatra 2025 draws hundreds of young anime and cosplay fans. Poland scrambles fighter on its border with Ukraine as Russia strikes Kiev. Zelensky is set to meet Trump in Florida on Sunday. Thailand and Cambodia agree ceasefire after weeks of deadly clashes. Both agreed to freeze front lines and allow civilians in both areas to return home. And 13th NSSF Kinder Olympics kicked off from today in Kathmandu. Over 1,500 students participating in the first phase. Polish fighter jets have been scrambled on its border with Ukraine after the Ukrainian capital Kiev was hit by Russian missiles and drones overnight. Poland's military said its air force took a preventative response to secure its airspace after at least 1 person was killed and 28 others were injured in Kiev. However, following the latest Russian strikes, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeated his claim that Russia does not want to end the war and is trying to use every opportunity to inflict more pain on Ukraine. China has passed revisions to a key piece of legislation aimed at strengthening Beijing's ability to wage a trade war, curb outbound shipments of strategic minerals, and further open its $19 trillion economy. The latest revision to the foreign trade law, approved by China's top legislative body, will take effect on March 1, 2026. The world's second largest economy is overhauling its trade-related legal frameworks, partly to convince members of a major trans-Pacific trade bloc created to counter China's growing influence that the manufacturing powerhouse deserves a seat at the table as Beijing seeks to reduce its reliance on the United States. Adopted in 1994 and revised 3 times since China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001, most recently in 2022, China's foreign trade law empowers policymakers to hit back against trading partners that seek to curb its exports and to adopt mechanisms such as negative lists to open restricted sectors to foreign firms. Sao Paulo of Brazil, the most populous city in Latin America, broke the 2025 heat record this Friday for the second day in a row, reaching a high of 36.2 degrees Celsius amid a heat wave, the local government reports. Thermometers hit 35.9 degrees centigrade on Thursday, a Christmas day, according to data from the National Meteorological Authority. It reached 36.2 degrees Celsius on Friday, which is the highest for a month of December since 1961 in the state capital. The unprecedented heat has put pressure on local infrastructure, with energy consumption soaring as residents rely heavily on air conditioning and cooling systems. Meteorologists warn that this record-breaking December heat reflects broader climate trends in this region, with extreme temperatures becoming increasingly frequent and intense. Business news and sports update up next, but before that, let's take a look at what we have coming up next.
Nepal has announced a dramatic rise in cardamom exports, underscoring the spice's growing role in the nation's trade portfolio. According to the Major Customs Office, exports of large cardamom soared 60.1% in the first 5 months of fiscal year 2025-26, reaching 2,622 metric tons value at around $61 million. This compares to around $38 million during the same period last year. The surge is driven by strong demand from India and Gulf countries, where Nepal's cardamom is prized for its quality. The export boom is injecting fresh momentum to the agriculture economy, creating jobs in eastern districts like Jhapa and Ilam and strengthening Nepal's foreign exchange reserves. While cardamom exports are climbing, tea exports fell 31.4%, highlighting uneven performance across Nepal's agro exports. Still, the government views cardamom as a strategic crop with potential to anchor Nepal's spice trade globally. Emergency repair operations are underway at the Chernobyl nuclear shelter after reports of a drone strike damaged protective infrastructure at the site. While Ukrainian authorities confirm no immediate radiation leak, the incident has triggered serious alarm in global energy and commodities market. Any disruption at Chernobyl is still believed to be a symbol of nuclear risk, could heighten volatility in European power prices and intensify debates over nuclear safety. The strike underscores the vulnerability of critical energy infrastructure in conflict zones, raising questions about long-term investment security in nuclear projects. Vietnam's 30-party Congress has marked digital transformation as a strategic driver for socio-economic development. Over the past 5 years, this vision has rapidly taken shape across government, businesses, and society. Major achievements include the expansion of digital infrastructure, advances in data management, and the rollout of e-government services. Together, these efforts have fueled a fast-growing digital economy that now contributes around 20% of the nation's GDP. Analysts say this momentum is positioning the country to compete globally while strengthening resilience at home. Digital transformation is no longer just a policy goal. It is becoming the backbone of Vietnam's economic future. Rio de Janeiro is experiencing a record-breaking tourism boom in 2025, positioning itself as one of the hottest destinations in South America. According to the city's tourism observatory, the metropolis welcomed 6.8 million visitors in the first half of the year, a 20% increase compared to 2024. The most striking growth came from international arrivals, which soared 52.1% to 1.2 million foreign tourists, while domestic tourism also rose nearly 15% to 5.6 million travelers. This surge is reshaping Rio's business landscape. The influx of visitors is injecting millions into local businesses, boosting employment and strengthening Rio's reputation as a resilient post-pandemic economy. China's film industry has sustained robust growth in 2025, cementing its position as the world's second-largest movie market. Official box office data show revenues climbing steadily, driven primarily by domestic productions and animated features, which now account for the majority of top-grossing titles. Animated films, in particular, have captured family audiences nationwide, contributing to record ticket sales during holiday seasons. The film sector is generating billions in revenue, boosting employment across production, distribution, and exhibition chains. Streaming platforms are also capitalizing, with domestic films achieving strong digital viewership, further expanding monetization opportunities.
Now the sports update. Fighting England won their first test on Australian soil in 15 years on Saturday, restoring their battered pride with a gutsy 4-wicket victory to clinch a chaotic fourth Ashes clash that was all over inside 2 days. The pumped-up tourists dismissed Australia for 132 soon after lunch in front of a bumper 92,045 crowd at the Melbourne Cricket Ground following the 20 wickets that tumbled on day one. England crashed the first 3 tests and came to Melbourne under enormous pressure amid questions about their limited preparations and allegations of excessive drinking during a mid-series beach break. However, they finally came good and will head to Sydney for the 5th and final test, brimming with confidence. Time now for weather updates, first from Nepal and then across the world. We're almost at the end of our news hour, but before we wrap up, let's take a look at the headlines one more time. Major political parties pledged participation in the March parliamentary polls, commitment made during Prime Minister Summons meeting. Nepal's Election Commission calls for submitting closed list of PR candidates for March 5 elections, also defines categories for temporary voters' roll. Kathmandu's Otaku Jatra 2025 draws hundreds of young anime and cosplay fans. Poland scrambles vital on its border with Ukraine as Russia strikes Kiev. Zelensky set to meet Trump in Florida on Sunday. Thailand and Cambodia agree ceasefire after weeks of deadly clashes. Both agree to freeze front lines and allow civilians living in border areas to return home. And 13th NSSF Kinta Olympics kicked off from today in Kathmandu. Over 1,500 students participating in the first phase. And that's it for this edition of NTV World News Hour. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. This is Smita Gising Tamang signing off. Thank you for staying with us. Good night.